Hey, YouTube. How is it going? I hope all is well. Riley, thank you for coming in. Thank you for everyone else who's also in the chat waiting for things to happen. Yesterday was a bit of a... We're just not going to go there. We're not going to relive yesterday. We're going to do better today. So that's all we're going to do. All right. Riley, I want you to know you have managing privileges. So if you see suited for any reason that somebody needs to be booted, you're more than welcome to do so. So I've kind of learned a little bit about myself over this last week or two. One is that I do squirrel quite a bit. I go a little too fast perhaps, and that does kind of, it affects me. I make more mistakes, like cutting this thing too short and just little things like that, right? Like things that shouldn't be that difficult turn into something that's more difficult. So I'm going to try to change my attitude today. So I've got some attitude adjustment there, and we've got a Red Bull here to speed things up. Today's goal is pretty simple. What's going on, Steven? Thank you for coming back in. So today's goal is going to be pretty simple. Realistically, we want to get it so that this is more or less permanent. We want to get these guys put in here. So we'll have our back faceplate on, probably our front faceplate as well. Because if we can get these in, then we're doing pretty good. I need to finish up the remainder of the grounds first before we can do those little guys. I did go through yesterday, like I had mentioned, and kind of clean this thing up a little bit. More or less all I did was make it so it was wrapped around properly. It was incorrect before, it is correct now. So that sits in there quite nice like. I also did confirm that I wasn't crazy. Yes, this thing should work the way it's supposed to. So not worried about that guy anymore. Outside of that, there wasn't too much else I didn't get to that I didn't want to. With any luck today, in theory, we should be able to flip the power switch on. I don't know that we're going to do that. AC, welcome to the chat. Thank you so much for coming on in. In theory, we can click the switch and see if we're going to have any problems with the power transformer. I don't see why we would, but we'll see about that. I don't know if we need to really, honestly, start it up. It wouldn't do anything, right? All it would do is power the heaters. So with that, let's get one of my glaring faults out of the way real quick, and that's this guy right here. So unfortunately, it just, I don't know what it was. I just biffed it on that one and didn't cut it long enough. So I get, you know how you done it right? You've done it now, in this case, 4 times. Because yesterday I just really duffed it. So I'm going to pull those out of the way to make it a little bit easier to get to. I'm just going to be a brutalist. I'm going to cut it a little bit short. And I got another cable here, wire that I know is long enough. It's kind of probably not a bad idea to cut it short anyway, so that they don't all just sit in this giant cluster right there next to each other. But I've kind of forced my own hand on that, so whatever. All right, so we're just going to cut it right there. And I'm going to go ahead and save this little bit of wire that's left, because honestly, it's nothing wrong with it. Got the wife texting me hello, that she loves me. Hello, is it me you're looking for? I can see it in your eyes. Sorry, what? Where were we? All right, I'm going to get this thing cut off here. I want to kind of save it if I can, because I just need to strip the end off anyway. But that glue, like I told you, that glue works really well. So bear with me while I get this off. I hope everybody's had a good day. It was a busy day for me at work. They're really making me work those last few days. Not a bad thing. I'm not bitching. But when you don't really have too much time to, like, stick your thumb up your bum, like, you know, I'm in one of those types of fields where when everything's good, it's like you just kind of sit around and try to find busy work to do, right? But when crap hits the fan or whatever, like everything is, the world is crashing. So everybody expects you to be like moving and doing and everything else above, and everything. There we go. I want just a little bit more. So yeah, today, the last couple days have been that way. At my company, I work for an agricultural company, and we go through a lot of like seasons, like transitions or whatnot. So, Lex, how's it going, my man? So with those transitions, you know, a lot of moving and shaking goes on. So, needless to say, like days like that, or today, and you know, anything in this last week is pretty just dynamic, I guess is the word for it. Very dynamic. Like this amp is going to be. This amp is going to be super dynamic and open sounding. This amp is going to be so freaking awesome. I cannot wait. To be honest, I can't wait. I know that Andy wants me to slow down a little bit. He wants to try to get caught up. He wants to get caught up with his build for John, which John's not in here yet. I'm sure he'll pop in. I kind of heard a little bit of the story. Riley, maybe you can fill us in on it. I don't know much of the story other than what I was told. I take it at face value. I don't doubt it, but it doesn't sound like it was horrible bad, but it wasn't good either. It was like, what? Why? Ask why? Try bud dry. Click. All right. There we go. I'm happy with that. And then we're going to do this. The funnest stuff ever. We're doing it now. I'm using a heat gun to make shrink, wrap, shrink now. Almost made it rhyme. Almost. There it goes. Come on, baby. I'm waiting for it to do that thing. That thing that it does that you can't see it do. I'll try to make it so you might... you're never going to be able to see it. I apologize. Just go and buy these types of connectors and then go shrink it. And then you'll be like, oh, I get it. I understand like why Luke gets all excited about stupid stuff like that. Maybe not. Maybe you'd be like, oh my god, he's just freaking nuts. You might just think I'm nuts. I'm probably all the above, to be honest. Alright, so I want skizzers. We need some skizzers. I missed your live this morning, unfortunately, Riley. I was kind of bummed that I'd heard you had a live, and I was like, wait a minute, I didn't get a thing. Next time. Alright, what do we got here? Handbags and... Right? Alright, let's see here. I want that to go like right frickin' there. I think... No, that's not quite center. I want that to be like right there. It's hard to see where center is on those things. Realistically, I don't need to double wrap it like I am. I'm doing that more just for looks. And just... why not? Love that. Just... sucks it in like I do when I'm at the beach. Alright, we got those in there now. We can put them back down on the bottom. That went down the one freaking hole. Alright. So, let's see here. Yeah, really kind of non-incidental, to be honest. Alright, so this is going to go back in the hole. Click. I'm going to just screw it back on for now. So I need to get the remainder of the grounds done and hooked up. So there was the one that we put on here already. So this one here, right? That is going to go... I made this like way too long. It's really just going to go to like right here. That's one of them. The other one is going to come from here and there. But I think I'm just going to continue to use the 20 gauge. I need to burn through it. Grounds are probably not a good not a bad spot, excuse me, to run slightly higher gauge. The grounds are where most of your currents are going to flow through. All right, that's where most of your current is going to flow through in an amp, is through the grounds. So the grounds you don't necessarily want to skince on if you're going to skince on anything. Hey, hell yeah, there you go, my man. Steven, that's great. I love meters. I have a bunch of different meters. I don't know what it is. I love my old school one there, my little multimeter, but you know, realistically, it's antiquated, not all that great. It's like a Velham or something like that, or Velman, excuse me. Velma! I've had it for, gosh, well over 20 years now. So this one I don't want to make too short. So I'm just going to get a bunch out and make sure it's like stupid long. One of them is going to go to here. And I think that's the only one that's left that needs to actually go there, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. So this one is going to come out and around and go into this one. Let's get one of these guys and see how far out we need to make it. So at least, I don't want it to be ridiculously long, but, and that is long enough there. That's going to go to there. And it's going to go all the way to over here. And it's going to go to there. I'm going to cut it right here. It's a bit on the long side, but that'll take care of that ground. And then we got the other one that goes to this one. I guess I can take this out now that we know how far out it needs to go. All right, let's see here how the thing's looking. Handbags and call drags. Love it. I love it. So, how was your day there, AC? I mean, I know you didn't get a whole lot of rain yesterday, but it's good to see you plopping out some videos lately. I like that. Reservoir ground be better further away from your input ground? Well, my input ground's over here. This is going to be my pi and I believe my bias ground, or at least a portion of it, maybe not. My other bias ground will go there. So I'm probably going to do speakers, my screens, and my bias here on this one. This one is for all my high current stuff, so that'll be my center taps and my reservoir cap, that one. So this is my reservoir cap here. And then this one, I may be able to get rid of one of those, to be honest, but I have a couple things that need to ground in there. One of them being the pi and negative feedback and all that jazz. So that's what we're going to use that. But that one there is for the actual input. So it is a little bit further away than it seems. The big thing is just ground loops. My understanding is that the proximity of these things is kind of irrelevant. It's the crosstalk between them is a little bit of a problem because, you know, you got this, which is the high current zone, right next to something else that's lower current. But when I do a lot of my bus runs, I put, you know, more or less the HT, the first reservoir, the screen node, and all that on just a bus line, right? So I'll start at the input here, and I'll get the first tube, second tube stage, third tube stage, and then I'll have the screen and the reservoir node, and then I'll tie those into the spot, you know, that goes to the same spot as those two. I don't tend to have any issues with it. Noise is generally not my problem. Now, that's been my luck. That's been my luck. So, I don't know. This one, we're going to find out. I'm doing things a little bit different. I'm doing it more high watt style, if you want to call it that. But I want this to kind of come around and go there. I'm going to cut it a little long again. So we're going to go right there. Let's see here. For the most part, I think I have all the grounds kind of taken care of. Now, how tricky should I get? Should I weave this ground into the HT or the power transformer there so it stays put, or do I just zip tie it? That is the question. I think I'm gonna just zip tie it for now, and then I'll come back to it later. But I want it to kind of be underneath, if I can. I want it to kind of come up alongside it. So I'm gonna put a zip tie on there just to kind of hold it in place so we know which one it is. and then we'll come back to that. She will just come back to that, okay? It's gonna be okay. All right. And then that'll come up and go into the thing. We'll figure that out from there. Okay. 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 Part of me wants to be a brat and put a zip tie on the inside there of that where it bends over. Have you ever done that at like a mall or something like that, or like a pizza joint or something, and you're like, yeah, I'm looking for Mr. Dover, Mr. Ben Dover. Sorry, that was the kid in me coming out. That was the kid in me coming out. That one, there it is. That one I can cut. Click. And I got one more here. That's good. Good. Scoot. And this one we will put that way. So what I like to do on some of my things, not all of them, it just depends on what's going on, but I will put a zippy tie on either side of a bend, so that way you can manipulate it and get it to bend. And of course later on it's going to get hidden anyway, except for this thing here is in the wrong spot. There it goes. All right. So that'll come along, go like so, like that. That'll get sucked down and held down, whatever. I'm going to go ahead and cut this one. I literally go through 100 zip ties when I'm doing these builds, though, because I suck up a whole bunch of crap that I, like, I'll zip tie it and then move it and realize, I don't want it there, and then I'll zip tie it and, you know, cut the zip ties, move it again, and then, you know, repeat. Rinse and repeat type thing. Oh, what do you know? We got a little wire end right here. Click. There we go. That's kind of sucked in back there. So that's the reservoir cap. We're going to put the reservoir cap on this spot right here. I wish I'd put this in just a little bit further. I probably could have done it just a little bit further so it doesn't have to go up and over, but I wasn't quite that lucky. All right, so that one I'm going to shoot at the bottom. So that's going to go in the bottom hole down there. But with any luck, it'll get hidden underneath all my different connections. But let me sort of kind of get that thing cut to length here. I'm going to cut it right there. That's a little long. Should be a little long. And what I'm going to do is just stick it in there for now. And then I need to manipulate it, apparently. I just kind of want to stick it in there to hold it for the time being. There. Something like that. I just want to kind of get an idea for where everything's going to fall. So, kind of like that. This little kink right here we can get worked out. It'll probably get hidden underneath all the other wires anyway. Alright, there's that one. Now I got this one here. Same. So, this one here will probably bend in like that, right? Try to get it bent like that, and then we'll go a little further back. So that way when I come up, which will probably be there like so, right? So it's going to go in there literally like that. That makes sense. Then we'll have this zip tie right up the middle there. So let me get some more zip ties out. And every zip tie that I've just put in right now is probably in the wrong spot. Like, I'm probably going to end up redoing them all. But for now, it's just to kind of get a good idea of where everything's going to live. Because the wonderful Wizard of Oz. And let's see here. Let's go this way. Maybe that'll make it a little easier on me. And nope, it's not. It's going to make me frickin' work. Thank you. And are you guys starting to understand now why we do these videos with what do you want to call it, like not live? It's because of stuff like this where the brutality of building it is this kind of crap here. Like half the time you're just fidgeting with wires, it seems, or so it seems. But that's kind of more or less in the right zone there. That one is staying put for the most part. Tuck that in there, come out over, and then same here. We're gonna shoot right into there. And I want to go to the bottom one, so I want to make sure I get it nice and tight like that. Looks like it should be more than enough. Yes, it will be more than enough, so I'm not worried about that amount of length sticking out, so I can pretty much commit to this at the moment. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to cut it just a little long still, and then we'll manipulate it into the hole. Water go down the hole. And I don't know why I'm actually trying to get it in there, to be honest, but whatever. I just want to manipulate it, get it in. And see, I just want to get an idea for how it's all going to fit, see? That's just what it is, yo. So that'll all kind of go there. I think we're all going to be good. So you know you've done pretty good if everything kind of stays put in its little spot. If you got enough little length left over, that's even better, because then you can sort of get the wire to square up the way you want it to and all that jazz. It's kind of hard to get this wire to really square up because it is so thick, but and it's that Teflex stuff, so that's what the heat is good for later on. When we go back later, we'll go through the heat to kind of try to get it to lock into place. If I do well enough here, we probably won't have much to worry about, except for that we know we got more wires coming back and forth. So all those ones I put in there, I'll probably end up with a couple extra, because do recall that we have this wire to go along there, and I think these two as well. Yeah, these two as well need to go along there. Now, don't let me forget, everybody, this guy here is absolutely the first thing that needs to go in this amp, because the screws that hold it in are down here, and they actually go behind the faceplate. So don't let me forget that, because with my luck, I'll put those things in and do all that crap before I put that in, and then I'll be like, "God darn it, I got to undo stuff," and you know, all that kind of crap. We don't like that. At this point, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the power switch and the jewel lamp back in. Because there's not... Ooh, you know what we should do? We should get the little LED driver put in too. I did put a little piece of thing on the back. So let's go ahead and put this guy in that corner just so we can get it in there and get it out of the way. So I'm going to do that right meow. I almost blew it. No, I didn't almost blow it. I knew. But Riley, you were supposed to tell me. You were supposed to remind me of that. But you weren't here yesterday. You were falling asleep and stuff. I'm teasing. All right. I needed you yesterday, Riley. I really, really did. I missed you. Ooh, I almost put it in upside down. That would have been ungood. All right, let's get that right. I'm going to put it in like this. I'm going to just shoot for the middle here. Because we just need a little bit of play on either side. There it is. Click. All right, there it is. So this here, these two there are going to get like that little magnetic thing we were talking about. So I'm going to get those out of the way here. Maybe I'll send them down this guy. I don't know for now. And then this guy here, I want to leave it long, and that is kind of on purpose. We'll coil it up if we need to and fit it in that spot. It needs to be long because trying to get all this stuff to fit in there afterwards is just, it's just a pain in the butt. All right. Now for these ones, we don't necessarily have to have the front faceplate on first, because all the pieces on the front can get taken out at will. And I want to try to hold off on putting the front faceplate on as long as I can. So I'm going to put these in. We know that we can disconnect them. That's why we put the quick disconnects on there, is to make it modular so we don't have to deal with that kind of crap. If these things move a 1/16 of an inch or something like that, or that won't even be that much, but you know what I mean? If it moves at all, whatever, we'll live. We will live. And then I got a special tool. I bought some new tools to try to make it easier on me to put these types of things. Oh, you little brat. To put these types of things in later and tighten them up. So, all right. And if you wouldn't mind. So the plus is on the inside here. As I recall, we went with hot on the inside, and I think I can confirm that by looking at this and going yes. Yeah, we went hot to the inside. Cool beans. All right. So this guy is our hot, and then this guy, these two, I should say. So let's get this one going here. So I'm going to try to fit everything underneath this. Is it going to fit? Yes, it will. My God. I can't remember if I put these off the top or if I put them off the bottom. I usually do this particular one off the top. I usually put the switch side off the top. So I'm pretty certain that's the way I intended to do this. So this one will end up going over to here. But this one appears the wrong direction. Hold on. Yeah. I don't think there was any other way I could have done it. Yeah, no, that is correct. So that was me being nitpicky. So when you look at these things here, you got this side here, and then you got the side with the folded over part. I like to make it so that the outside, or the side that you're more able to see, is the pretty side, and I consider the pretty side to be the outside of that, right? So it looks like that, not that, that. But you don't always get the choice, especially with these flag ones, apparently. So click. And if I did this right, when I stick this guy in, it should just about line up. I believe it was the, yeah, it was that one there. Click. But see how that one's upside down? It's just, it is what it is. So both of them end up on the upside down. Isn't that just a brat and a half? But remember, this is going to come in just a little bit. So this is all going to clear. I am quite certain of that. Thought I left it a little bit longer, but oh my, I put it on good. I did good. I did good. I put it on good. We're just going to do this. And click. Can't say it wasn't on there. Probably before it actually gets put on, I'll give those just a little bit of a pinch to make sure that they're nice. Good and tight. Good and tight. That's what we're shooting for, is good and tight. I want to make sure I got all the wires down here done before we put this in, because I want to avoid the situation where I tag that thing and bend it up or down or something like that. So it's probably wise at this point to get our connections here done. So since everything is looking so far so good in that regard, I am going to commit, I think. I think I can pull that off. Sorry, I'm putting my head down over things, but all right. All right. I'm going to cut that just a wee bit shorter. Not much, just a wee little bit. Click. Then I need to strip it back and somehow get it back in the hole without forking it up. Sometimes that is easier said than done. And then we're going to have to get the iron nice and hot like. I don't mind giving this one like a little bit of the extra length. Want to make sure, we want these to be good. These are the grounds. And I think these ones have enough room that if I give it a little bit of solder at the tip, that we can still get it in the hole. So I'm gonna juice it up a bit too. Oh, today's going a little bit smoother, a little bit better so far. I'm quite happy with what we're working with here. So there's that. This guy I can get in as well. This one's going to be a little bit more of a brat. I'm probably going to have to fish it. Maybe not. I'll figure it out. That one just barely fit between the two spaces that I got there, but I think I'll be able to work it through. One way or another, we're going to work it through. But let's do a couple things here. I'm going to give it a little more juice. Give it the juice. What was that? What's his name that just passed away? The Juice? Freaking, what's his darn name? I can't remember his name. It's beyond me. I know who he is. Everybody knows who he is. The freaking guy that ran from the cops in the Ford Bronco. If the glove don't fit, you must have quit. Best defense team ever. It was totally him, wasn't it? He had to have done it. All right, so I want to try to get it in there, but I want it to be not buried in on it. There it is. See, I want to try to get it to stay right there. I know you guys can't really see that very well, but bringing up the heat. Bringing up the heat. O.J. Simpson. That's right. I wanted to say like Ozzy or something like that. I know it wasn't like Ozzy, Osbourne or anything like that, but oh, thanks, Vessel. I appreciate that. We're getting there little by little. It's pretty messy right now. I got wires going everywhere, but whatever. I think we can pull this off here. It's gonna be difficult because I want to lay the iron across this thing, but I don't want to melt any wires. See, and let's see here. Come on, get in there. Oh, wow. See, that went really well. I will accept those terms. Yes. Yes. All right, I'm going to turn this off for now because I got it set really hot and I don't want to cool it off yet. So I probably will need to suck some back, to be honest. But I need to find one of these with a plastic tip. One of these days, that's what I'm going to do. But let's see what I can do with making this thing do what I want it to do, which is go underneath this guy and lay the FERC down. So of course, since I've bent everything up, it's all kind of just all over the place, but now what I'm looking to do is get a nice like curve in there, right? And that's not teabag, to be honest, but I'm just trying to get it nice and straight like. That's pretty good. That's livable. Again, you're probably not going to see most of that anyway. All right, let's do the same to the other side. So we're going to, I think I'm going to just strip it right where it's at, and then we'll work our way back around that way. That seems to be the prudent way to do this at the moment. And click. What else am I going to get in there? I got to be careful. So the speaker is probably going to have to go to the bottom on that backside there, because I need this top one to go to the bias probe here. So this is the ground probe that I'm talking about that goes literally like right up to the darn thing. But I want to ensure that I don't like run myself out of space or something like that. So let's get that going. And let's get this end freaking undone here. Golly, that stuff is freaking stout, man. Erg. I am going to get better clippers one of these days. Like, it's obvious that I need to. It's just, golly. Let's see if I can do this here. There we go. I'll take that. Now this thing is set for stun at the moment, so it's gonna melt like a dream right now. And if you wouldn't mind, thank you. There we go. Oh yeah, she warm. All right. So we're gonna go for the bottom, and I can see you can see it right there. That's the freaking flux on my finger. Ah, it's acid. It's gonna burn me. Oh my gosh. All right. Sorry. Could not help. Could not helpeth thyself. All right. There we go. Ish. And I want you to stay put. Stay put. All right. Ooh, that almost got me. Hot globs of solder. Oh yeah, that went through nice like. All right. Turn this back off. Okay. We're doing pretty well here. Quite smitten with what we've got kind of cruising along here. I want to try to get this a little bit tighter down there. I know, I'm sorry, my hands and my head are in the frickin' way. But that's what it takes to get this. Can I get an amen? That looking pretty close? That's looking pretty close. Yeah, I think we can live with that. And then these ones will end up getting, I'll like pinch them down over here, and then I'll have to yank these back a little bit and get some more space out of them. So these got plenty of length here. I'm not worried about these, but you get what I mean, right? You get what I mean. Know what I mean, Gene? Know what I mean, Gene? There we go, ish. Okay, now am I at a spot where I can put the speaker jacks in more permanently? That is a question mark. I want to say yes, but I also want to say no. The reason I want to say yes is because I do kind of want to get them in before I commit to getting these guys in. So let's confirm a couple things here. This wire we're gonna have to have come around. I think the way we did this was I was gonna go black on the first one, red on the second one. Oop, we need more length there, or what do we got? Yeah, it's gonna have to do. All right, so there's that. And those again will get zippy tied or something along those lines. This is gonna go right up that alleyway there. It's gonna kind of share that little space, if you will. Kind of something like that, perhaps. And then this other one, we'll probably end up zip tying those or something, because this one's gonna end up coming either all the way around and into the tip here, or I'll cut it up through that. I'll cut it up through this way, or I'll come around and follow that path. I don't know what I'm gonna do yet with that, but for right now, it's just gonna be in my freaking way. Because that's just what it does. It gets in the way. All right, where's that? So this one here that one's a ground. No, that's my feedback. So the feedback wire is gonna go along that kind of pathway there, I think, for now. So we'll just keep that there. If it wouldn't mind staying put, that would be great. That'll work. Okay, so that's my NFB wire there. This is the one that is actually our common. That will go into here. I do need to redo that solder connection underneath there first. We talked about that yesterday for a brief moment. It is just not quite to my standard yet. But I kind of feel like I should do that now, because I think that would make more sense. So let's have a little sippy of the Ready Bowl. Making it look easy. I don't know about making it look easy, but I'll be honest in saying that I spend probably about five minutes just kind of looking at it before we start these videos, and then just kind of going, okay, this is what we need to do. We need to do that. No. It helps to slow down a little bit. I'm really trying to go a little bit too fast right now, but the chat is at a good pace for me. And there's not distractions. I love it when you guys talk. I love that. But yesterday we had a couple distractions in there, and it just bothers me. I don't know what the hell it is. Like I'm conflict adverse, believe it or not. I'm gonna do this off camera. I apologize, but I want this thing to play by the rules. All right, that is a pretty large solder glob, to be honest, but that is looking very much better. I'm more happy with that now. And then I don't know what that is. That did not go the way I wanted it to on that side of it, but there it is. Mo Betta. All nice and shiny like, I know you guys can't really see it, but all nice and shiny like there. And you can see we got it underneath. It's a little bit big. That's kind of a glob, to be honest. But I know that we got a solid connection now, and I don't have to sweat it. That was the part that was concerning. All right, so if I put this, once I kind of put this in, the thing is I kind of have to make it a more permanent piece. So I want to try to make sure we got all the other kind of things settled first. So I kind of, let's just freaking do that. Let's just make sure things are settled. So there's that. I don't know if I really want to put a zip tie in this corner here. Everything is sitting nice and tight, but probably wouldn't hurt to put one there. So I'm going to try to get a zip tie in there. Again, I apologize. You guys probably can't see me very well or whatever, but and if you wouldn't mind, where art thou? I think what I'm going to do is get it up in there. Like so. There we are. Ish. Sort of. And then I'll slide it into space. Into its space. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. I say it. You know what I mean, though. Alright, there it is. Alright, so now we are nice and bundled. And click. And then I think, well, we'll leave that one alone. I am going to cut these now, though. Except for I guess that's as good as that was going to ever be. There's that one. I was thinking I might be able to get these to come a little bit straighter, but there's no way to make it any straighter. Those are pretty naturally going to cruise in that direction that way. So there's that. So those are now nice and toy-like. I got everything kind of going where I need them to go. I want this kind of on the other side of that, though. Methinks. Yes. That's going to go down like that. That is working for me. I think I will put a zip tie there right now. No, I got one more wire to run that way still. So no, I don't. Not from here. We're going to put a zip tie right there now as well. Be done with it. Again, I'll probably end up cutting half of these back out and redoing them, but whatever. Trying to keep it nice and tidy like, see? And then that one we'll probably put right where that bends. Right around where it ends. There we go. Alright, get this guy. Coot. There it is. Alright. Okay. And then those guys will kind of land together there. And in that general vicinity, we'll put another zip tie there probably. No wait, I need to wait on that one. Because that one I do have something to go that goes there. I probably could have gotten away with waiting on that one too, so it just comes straight down and then goes over. We'll deal with that in a minute. Like I said, a lot of these are probably coming in and out 3 or 4 times. No. All right. I think we're in a pretty good spot. We can get this done. Part of me is half calling myself a liar, but the other half of me is like, dude, you're cool. Nothing to worry about, bruh. Nothing to worry about. But as with most things that have been kind of going on with this build, the only way that you know that you've done it right is to have done it twice. And I'm kind of over the doing it twice bit. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. We're gonna be all right. So these gravity. This is going to end up shrinking in the width of one of those washers. I am not too worried about that though, because obviously this wire here and the other one are, 1/16 of an inch inward isn't gonna, or outward, whatever you want to call it, isn't gonna bother it. I am gonna wait to do this one until probably closer to the end. For now, we're just gonna work on getting this guy in its home. So that one, I'm gonna try to give it some space, a little bit of wiggle room. So I'm not gonna like suck it in there all tight like, and I'm gonna give it so because it's kind of like a little loop-de-loop. So we're gonna go right there, and then we're gonna shave a little off the top. Dude shaved me bare, gave me a lollipop. I did that one the other day, didn't I? Trouble. Is that The Simpsons, like their first like studio album or something? I was a kind of a Simpsons kid. My parents really didn't like me watching The Simpsons because they said that it was a bad influence. Little did they know, I didn't need any help. There we go. All right, so now let's see if we can do this without melting or burning anything we don't want to. So we got to get both of them down here. Oh, it dropped a freaking drop down there, you dirty little. So I'm going to have to fish out a little thing down there apparently. But I can't tell that I got this side here. I think I did not. Now I know that I did. And I can see that I have gotten it on both sides. I'm going to make sure. There we go. All right. So, yeah, I got a little solder ball that fell into my thing there. There it is. Gone. All right. That's looking bueno. I am going to cut that a little bit. I don't need freaking that much sticking through it. But we want to be careful not to cut the bottom one. There it is. No nicks either. I actually cut it a little shallow. There it is. If you ever can find one of these are the what do you call it? The flat blade ones, right? So they're the flush cuts. Let's see if I can line that up for you. I don't know if I can get that. There it is. All right. These ones are pretty used and abused. But if you can find these, I like them because they're spring loaded. I got the matching like pliers for them too. I'm on the fence about these. These are pretty good for like the fine stuff, but I'm not super stoked on them like all the time. I am gonna recut or cut that and redo it. But yeah, I mean, whatever. It is what it is. And we're gonna push that down into there. We want it to run kind of along the top. Another zippy tie. Yes, we're gonna go that way with it. Again, I apologize. I know all you see is my head half the time, probably. Aye. Alright, there it is. So I want that to be there, and then I want this to kind of suck in just a little bit. But I want these also on the same. There it is. There it is. Okay. And I want a little bit back of that. There we go. I think that looks pretty dang good. I think that looks really dang good. I think I can live with myself with that there. Okay, so I'm going to tighten that up. No, I said I'm going to tighten that up, not freaking slip and freaking... No. Okay. Click. All right. So that's nice and tight. Like a twigger. Tight like a twigger. That one's tight like a twigger. I want these to not be bent. Kind of carry the same line. There they go. So this one here is going to be a little less than fun. And I actually need it to go... It's sucky because it's such a big wire. And I do need it to kind of go up into this thing there at an angle. It can be done, and it's helpful that it's this PVC wire here. But that makes it a challenge because now I got to put a lot of heat. Thank you, my man. I am doing well, Carno Vector. Good to see you again. Thank you for coming in. How you been? It's I haven't seen you the last few times, so it's good to see you as always. But I know you were kind of doing a move and all kinds of other fun stuff. I'm sure that's well over with by now, but in either case, I hope all is well. I kind of went over the top, but I didn't really want to do that probably. So I need to get this so it will fall in line there. As again, I apologize, my head's in the way. I am going to be brave. I'm going to cut it right here. That's probably a bit brave there, what I just did. But that'll allow me to strip it back a little bit and give it like a sharp kick. So we just want it to like make an immediate left-hand turn. Now what happens with PVC when you do that though is the sucky part, because what ends up ultimately happening is that the PVC melts away and then you end up with this giant exposed freaking, you know, like little area or whatever you want to call it. So that worked out well. I do need to undo a fair amount of this. This is the 16 gauge. And I'm doing that because I know that it's probably going to suck itself back a little bit. And then what I want to do is hope that when I kick it, I'm going to kick it here like that. All right. So now we got this nice sharp corner there that it'll go in, stay in, and do what it's supposed to do. I'm going to figure out this red wire after the fact. I'm more interested at this point in getting this thing in there, soldered in and looking good. See, it's a little on the long side right now. No, this is going to work. This is going to work. It's tight though. I can suck some back. We're going to be okay. It's not like the end of the world. We're going to be just dandy. All right. I think that's going to work okay right there. I think we're going to be just fine. So now we're going to turn up the heat. Turn it up. Turn it up. Ba-ba-da-da. Turn it up. I don't really know the song. I just remember it when I used to, my clubbing days when I was a kid. Ordinary. Chicka ching ching. Turn it up. Or whatever it is he says. I don't know what he actually says, to be honest. I'm speculating. Look, I'm just a dude, okay? Who really kind of wants this to stay spaced. No, I want you to stay spaced. That might work. It's not going to work. I'm going to have to do it old-fashioned way. Get it to just sit where I want it to without borking anything. Or get my hands down in there. Which would be even more fun. Not. Alright. It's a real show, finally! Let's go. Alright. Sorry, that was actually pretty gross. I know it. Oh yeah, I can see that wire freaking trying to melt itself back. Come on, baby. Get it on in now. There it is. There it is. There it is. There it is. Managed to keep itself hidden down there pretty good. It did cut back the wire a little bit, but again, it's in one of those spots you really can't see it, and it's fortunately not really incidental. Fortunately not incidental. Like, it doesn't affect anything. Oh, that did not stick though. See, that's why I freaking do this kind of stuff here. I freaking play hard, baby. Play hard. And I think now it's actually sticking. There it is. Now it's actually sticking, I think. No, I see what's going on. Okay. I'm going to give it a little more heat. I'm not happy with how that's going right now, unfortunately. That is playing with me right now. It is playing with me. Yeah, there it is. All right, it sucked itself in. All right. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. That sucks a little bit, but and then what we'll do is this will be kind of the test to see if it actually stuck. Jesus. I think I left a mark on my whatchamacallit there. My screen. Hopefully I didn't. It's a brand new screen. So you guys can't really see it, but in front of me I've got a 34-inch curved screen. So it's a wide screen. It's like a 2K monitor. And then over here to my right, I have a 24-inch monitor. So I almost have 48 inches of monitor, like spread out across me here. And I kind of got them broken up into like 3 screens. So obviously the one on my left, that's the curved screen, I can use as 2. I don't generally do it that way, but the one on the right, I use to like monitor kind of everything else that's going on. You're, you know, William, how's it going, my man? Good to see you. Partying a lot. Now it's on though, huh? You ready to party hard now, huh? Okay, so that is nice and stuck like it's supposed to be. That is good. And now I'm going to put another... I think I can do this. Hold on. I think I can get this to come up. There we go. So I can fit this underneath, maybe? Maybe. I don't want to force it, but I'm going to see if I can. No, it's not going to play. Whatever. I want to get some of these dingleberries off too. Again, I apologize. I know my head's in the way a lot of times here. But yeah, that's just kind of how we roll. We gotta get dirty. That did finally take. Luckily, that one we're gonna use for the other one. This one I think is done as well. I don't foresee any other problems. This one we need to get the ground in there. I think we got everything on this side more or less in, with the exception of like this one here. So this one here has got to run underneath or over the top of that. But I don't want to be soldering over the top of this. So the unfortunate thing is I'm going to have to get this one in there, and we'll have to work around it. And that is just kind of how that is. I'm going to go ahead and get that one in there because I'm a brutalist. And I still have the temp up. So let's keep the ball rolling here. And every freaking time, right in your freaking eyes, man. That one's good. I am going to kind of pre-do this one. This one does have to kind of stay pretty like. See, if that one went as easy as this one did, sometimes you just cannot win, it seems. There it is. And blam. Oh, that one went perfect. Why couldn't that one been? So the challenge with this one here, and I think the problem that I had, and you can kind of already see it maybe, but I've got not one but 2 lugs, a bolt. I already had a wire attached, and I'm going into something that's steel. Like there's a lot of material there to heat up right at the base of the thing where it's the hottest. So I don't know why it worked so well the last time, with the first one. But this one was making me work. It probably was one of those things where I needed to tin it ahead of time, but it is what it is. So this one, it worked really well, and this one will come out and around like so, right? But we want to kind of keep this one up and over here for now. There. Let's get a zippy tie down there. I want to confirm. I think I've got... Oh, the wife is home. And the buds. So she's saying hi to the bubbers. So the bubbers is Buddy. And Buddy is the best dog ever. You want to fight about it? Buddy is an amazing dog. He is a... What do you call it? An amazing dog. That's all there really is to it. He's an American Pit Bull. But he just, I don't know what it is. Like, he's just one of those dogs. Like, we never really had to work on training him. He's always been super well behaved. We can walk him off leash. Like, he's just that kind of amazing. So, he's such a good boy. Such a good boy. All right. There's that. I am going to try to do the tighten up, click, and cut. And it might be time to replace this one. This one's starting to get a little too cantankerous. That thing's gone through a lot for me, though, so I guess I can't complain. It's gone through many builds for me. And do I want to go like that? Yeah, I'm going to go like that. We'll just go on the inside of it. That's where it wants to kind of go. I'm in debates on whether or not I'm going to put one down here. I guess if I really wanted it to play pretty and nice, I could have been a dirt bag and put like... shrink wrap tubing over it, and it's obviously too late to do that, but obviously putting like some shrink wrap tubing would just kind of combine it all a little bit better. But you're not really going to see any of that, so it's kind of non-incidental. Obviously looks are important, but again, kind of repairability is more what I'm interested in, more so than, trying to make things hyper beautiful. It's got to look good, but it's also got to be repairable. If it's not, then we got other problems. So let's see if I can get this one in here without issue. I know it will go in, but all right, there's that. And it is tight, let me tell you. So these are going to go up here. That dog, man. This dog is spoiled rotten, too, let me tell you. This little turd gets away with murder. But he's so cute. He's like the cutest dog ever. He's such a good boy. He looks at you with those little freaking puppy dog. He's not a puppy dog. He's like 12, 13 years of age now. But he looks at you with like those little puppy dog eyes, and you just melt. He's such a good dog. Such an amazing dog, too. All right, now this one would go click and kind of just like that, right? So it did exactly what I was hoping it would do, which is just kind of get down in there and stay down in there. Those are all going to get hidden like that. This guy will go there like that, right? Everything just kind of does what it's supposed to do. Oh my God. Give it back. Thank you. So, as I mentioned, we're going to have to cut half of these or add some more. It's a little tight underneath here, unfortunately. So we got a lot to add in this little bottom area here. We still got more to go. I'm going to try to make it so that the whatchamacallit goes up top. No, I need that to go on the top. And I want this one to end up on the bottom underneath, but it's going to be a lot of work right there. A lot of work. And I want this to kind of coil up a little bit right there. Again, I apologize. I know this is all kind of tight, but you can kind of start to see how this is all coming together here. Do I put this guy in and call it a day? I don't know. I am going to peel off this back corner here a little bit. There's a reason for that. The predominant part of the reason is that, well, fuck it, we're going. Yeah, that's good. Perfect. I want to be sure that the screws that hold this guy in, the M3s that I got, are well countersunk, and I can already tell I need to kind of clean up some of my countersink work there. And let's see here. Do I want to? No, I want to buy a hand one of these days. I don't really want to use this thing every time, but that's kind of where we're at the moment. I'm going to turn that off. I didn't realize I left it on. Whoops. I'm sorry, Mr. Iron. There we go. All right, hold on. Let's get this up there so I don't mess anything up. Hey, what's going on? Monch is back in the house. All right. Hell yeah. The more the merrier. We're starting to see some new faces lately, which is amazing. I love it. Thank you. So that is great. That means the algorithm is starting to do something for me. Could be because I'm doing a hell of a lot of lives lately, but it's definitely nice that we're getting some traction with some new faces over here. Not that the old guys are any bad. I love you too, guys. The more the merrier, all right? But thank you guys for coming back. I appreciate that. All right. We're getting into some brave territory right now. Now, the reason it's getting into brave territory is because once this thing goes on, it's kind of got to be like... Yeah, I need to go a little bit deeper, in fact. Kind of glad I checked. I didn't want to commit yet, and there's a reason why. These particular screws here are best sunk in, like actually sunk in, as opposed to any kind of level of proud. These are going behind the faceplate, and I don't want the faceplate to be pushed out at all. So this left side, or this right side over here is pretty good. I'm going to give it just a wee bit more. All right. But this left side I need to give a little more oomph to. And that warble, that was me. That wasn't the hole or anything. Oh yeah, there we go. Now it's countersunk. Hey, baby. How you doing?
Good. I heard this was where all the whiskey was at.
Not a whole hell of a lot of whiskey. Oh, hand it over. You hear that, everybody? She's like, give it. What was so bad about your day?
Nothing.
Yeah?
I'm just in the bright and shiny mood.
Oh, yeah? Are those the jeans you were talking about that make you all snatched up and stuff?
Oh my god, is this on?
Yes, it is.
This is my snatched jeans.
Hear that, everybody? Wife is snatched. Yeah, you know, could be worse. All right, let's see here. I am going to get brave and try to get this thing in here, but we don't want anything to get borked. That is going that direction. And we are going to put this in. That son of a... I need this to go up and stay up. It's one of those things I needed out of the way, please. Thank you. All right, we're going to go washer. And I do pretty side in. So we want it to be pretty side in. I know you can't see my face right now, but... And then we're going to go that. Then we're going to go with another washer. Again, pretty side to the side that counts. And we're going to leave it like that for now. I got to get this other one in. Where I put you. There it is. All right. Do. Come on, baby. Do the locomotion. All right, there's that. Here's this. Oh, this is going to get real tight. Kind of not looking forward to that. Shit. Okay, that's going to go on. All right. Here's where it gets fun, everybody. I've got to get these guys in there. Like so. Like that. That's bueno. And then I got to get this guy on. It's a washer. I like using washers. Washers are good, okay? And then I had a bit for this, but I don't know how that's going to work. So I'm going to have to get crafty. This is not big enough to be doing that. This is a Phillips on this side. So I need a Phillips head like that. I just want to get it started right now. Started. All right, one more to go here. And that go on, please. Thank you. And this one, I think I got enough space I can work my fingers, fat fingers around it. I do. All right. Okay. Now I need to get this kind of underneath it too, which is not helping me. I probably should have waited, but I knew that this was all going to be tight. So this needs to connect to that. Click. And come up and stay up over in this general vicinity. And then this needs to go under, but over and into there. Oh boy. Now you kind of get what I was talking about with this being like a pain in my butt. It's going to be tight over here. This needs to go like so. Click. And if you wouldn't mind, so let's see here if we can get those to all work in there a little bit. Yikes. This is part of my fear right here, is that it was going to be redunculous. But cheese and rice, I was not expecting it to be parad ass about it. Alright, so we gotta play God with a couple things here. First and foremost, we want this thing to come around. We need this to get up and underneath it. There it is. Now, I think I got this probably a little too far out, which means it needs to get sucked in that way a little bit. That's probably what part of my problem is. So let me get that worked back a little bit. And then that goes there and into that little zone. And this has come up and around like so. That is a little bit more ornery than I thought it was going to be honest. And it's still not fitting quite how I want it. I think I still need some more of this action to go that way. Click. There it is, kind of. So that'll go like so. This will go like so. And this will go in here like so. Oh, I'm a freaking idiot. That's not even going to work anyway. Golly, Riley, it's your fault. All right, well, it's a good thing I didn't make any major commitments yet, but we know it at least will fit. So this guy here has to go in after the faceplate goes on, so we're kind of doomed. So the things that made it easy for me to do what I was doing are now not going to be easy to do what I was doing. So we're going to have to tighten that thing in there. It has to go in after the fact. Oops. Which means even this one here is... This is not going to be fun, gentlemen. And ladies. If there are any ladies in here. But we are going to... We're going to make it work. That's all there is to it. It has to work, so... I am going to tighten that up. That now is going to be a permanent fixture. Call E. That's all I can say. This is that. Yep, that's the tool I thought I had. And what did I do with the other half? Oh boy. Like, if that was one of the only mistakes I made today, then I'll be happy, but darned. That is a little bit of a bummer, because that is going to make me work. Wait a second. Something happened here. Yep. Wire played rogue. That probably didn't help anything either. Gall, darn it. So there's a wire that went up and above and over the top of my thing. So now I've got to undo all my work for this particular side here. So I'm going to try to do this one at a time. Come on. There's that one. Oh man. Ha! When it falls apart quick, doesn't it, gentlemen? Yeah, we're actually all right. That wasn't the worst thing I could have done. It was just a minor. It was a test fit. We know everything that's gonna frickin' fit now. At least we know it's gonna fit. That's the important part, I guess. So that wire needs to stay the frick down there, like a good boy. All right. And yay. All right. So let's get that thing back in there again. Not that one. It's this one. It's going to be a little more challenging though because I don't have as much space as I had. So I'm going to just do it like that. Okay. And I want that going that particular direction. And then I'm going to put this one on that way. And then this one's going to go over and around. Oh, don't you start with me, you little pile. There it is. Oh, Jeebus. Okay. So what I'm trying not to do is put stress on that guy and just beat it up. You know what I mean? Like, that's really what I'm trying to avoid. I'm not really worried about what's underneath this thing. You know, there's the space underneath there. There's really nothing going on. Like, we just don't want things being pinched or, you know, whatever. I'm going to call that. Okay, those are both sunk. That one's a little bit on the tight side, which means I just need to go tighter with this one to make it even. There we go. That's looking pretty nice, like. Very solid. So this thing here will get bend up pretty easily. And now we just need to frickin' work on getting things where I want them to be, which means working out my minor issues here. I have a choice here. I have a couple options, I guess. This can go underneath and go all the way around, which I kind of would prefer, to be honest. I kind of want it to just go like that. Yeah, that's kind of probably the better way to do it. This guy here, go down there. This one, you wouldn't mind. I need you to not be tucked around like that. There we go. This one here is I'm gonna deal with that after the fact. Again, I apologize, my face is in the way. Wait a minute! The fucking wife took off the whole fucking baba! Excuse me for a second. Wife, you took off with the whole baba. Yeah. Go. You're going the wrong way, lady. Huh, buds? I don't know what you guys could hear or not, but I walk in there and I'm like, hey, you walked away with the whole baba. And she's like, oh, are you still on the video? I'm like, yeah, but that's beside the point. Nobody better lay a finger on my butterfinger. Another Simpsons joke there. All right. Okay. So this has to go in after the faceplate does. I now am in a spot where I can put the faceplate in. Kind of have to at this point, to be honest. So I'm really kind of dedicated, I guess, at this point. I am going to put this over the top of that, though, I think. It just seems to line up better that way. Up and over. Okay. Faceplate time? Why not? I want that to not touch that. Alright, where are we? I love my wife to death, but sometimes, just sometimes, she makes me wonder. We're kind of in a spot now where I also have to make some other decisions too. So I like to use a little bit of like super glue tape is what they call it. And if you wouldn't mind coming off, thank you. The super glue tape is great and all, but it's kind of a brat to put on. What I really need to do is kind of align. Oh my God, you've got to be kidding me right now. Get out. I need to align this thing in its center spot in hopes that everything else gets kind of aligned. So I think what I'm going to do, I don't know how I'm going to pull this off, to be honest. I don't really want to, I don't know. Let me get this stuff off here and we'll come back around on that. Come on now. Oh, this is starting to look pretty down here. You guys can't see it, I know, but this is starting to look kind of pretty. All right, let's tidy up just a little bit here. All right, pull that off. Okay, there's that. Hey, get back over here. All right. This out of the way, get that irons off. I can't get too crazy because that thing it's got stuff on it. So when I pull this thing out, I gotta be careful. So that's what it's starting to look like over here. All right? But we want it to be, do I dare set it on its side? I kind of need to get everything aligned is what it is. I think I can get away with it like this. Yeah, I think we can. I know that is not helpful for you guys, but let me try to make it so it is. My apologies. Okay, much ado about nothing right now. All right. So if this freaking thing would stay inside, that'd be great. All right. So, back panel, it goes on like this, right, in this orientation here. So what we want is, this is starting to turn real, by the way, guys. I don't know if you realize that. Like, we are starting to get to that point where it's a real amp. It's a real amp. Oh, it's a real amp. And everything looks like it's aligning very, very nicely. So what I want to do is run some of that. You guys, again, you can't really tell, but right along here, I need to put some super glue tape, which, let me see if I can find it. Hopefully, there it is. Ooh, running low. So this is the stuff here that I'm talking about. It's called T-Rex, and it's called super glue tape. Makes sense. Hopefully I got enough length of it here. I really only need it along this little section here. I don't even need it there, to be honest. The back I can probably get away without it. But let me show you what I'm talking about here. So along here and maybe along there. All right. So that would line up like so, and everybody be happy. But damn, that thing's kind of heavy. But the question is, do I want to put it on there? Part of me says yes, but then I won't have any for the front, and the front's where I really, really need it. I think I'm not going to use it on the back. I'm going to make my life easier and not put it on the back. The reason being is that on the back here, I'll show you in a second here once I get this put back on. On the back side of the amp though, I have a, what would you call it? Let's see here, I'm not tweaking anything. No, I'm not. So on the back of the amp, I put a plate that goes across the whole back side of it, right? So that little thing goes across the whole top. So the whole top is actually pushed in. And then I have a border or a fascia piece that goes along the sides and the bottom. So the entirety of the back of the amp is actually placed up against something the whole time. It's never not, you know, it never not has something to press it up against something else. So I don't really need anything back there. That's all. That's all. Cool. All right. Well, let's get this thing kind of aligned and put in. I'm gonna put this back down like that. There it is. All right. This guy here is gonna actually go like so. Click. I want this. And that is going here. Click. I'm gonna go ahead and get the speaker jacks put in. The speaker jacks, as I recall, or as I mentioned, need one less washer on each one. So those are coming out. Again, I apologize. I know most of you can't see this. Solid reason for divorce. Sorry, I'm just now getting caught up with all that. Yes, you're right. Very solid reason. Like, are you out of your damn mind? Like, no. See, that's not how we play. There it is. Did I get this one to go too? You dirty! Wow, I don't know how that happened. It, like, landed both of them like right there. Pretty impressive. I'm gonna loosen this up just a little bit and freaking get it centered a little bit more better. There it is. Now it went click. That's what we wanted. How dare you? And then she drank half the fucking bottle. There's only like 3 sips in there anyway. Yeah, I keyed, of course, but love her to death. She doesn't drink very often, but I don't know, whatever. Today is her day, I guess. Okay. That one's in there. That one's in there. This wire is starting to get on my freaking nerves. Won't stay put. Alright, let's get this one to stay put. Just need wires to kind of stay put for a moment. Alright, let's get this thing kind of flipped over up here. Golly, there's just like no place to grab anything. I can do the bias adjusters real quick, I suppose. Again, I just want to kind of get it all locked into place as much as I can before I commit anything, because if it moves and nothing else aligns, it's going to be a brat and a half. I'm probably at a point now where I can honestly just put it back in the cradle. Probably should put it back in the cradle. We're at that point now where every time we move this thing, it is a danger to its existence. So honestly, moving it as little as possible is probably ideal. More or less, I should put it in that cradle and leave it there. Okay. There it is. All right, we're back in the hole. Again, I apologize. I know you guys can't see much from your angle of the dangle, but... Okay. And let's see here. What do we got going on? Let's catch up on the chat. Hot. Yeah, right? With any luck, this video is going to end real soon. I better get caught up. Hold on. Hold on. We need to get caught up. Nothing like whiskey dick, right? Mm-hmm. Have to go get me a couple little blue pills. I'm just kidding. I don't need those yet. Mm-hmm. All right. I am going to be a dick. I'm going to put this in as well. What I'm going to do after I get this kind of in, what else can I leave in there? I don't know. I'll take out probably the 2 bias adjust pots, so they're easier to get to the things down here that I need to get to. But I want to get this kind of put in and make sure everything is going to fit, because now is the last chance. Oh yeah. Fuck yeah. Oh yeah. Except for one little thing. Washer. We like washers. I told you. I mentioned that, right? I told you. I like using washers. So everything right now is fitting like a freaking dream. I think I've got nothing to worry about at this point. So long as nothing moves. Get in your home. I'm just gonna use this for now. Ah! Then we do something stupid like that. Told you, every time you touch it from this point on is like danger zone. Like everything that we do right now is gonna want to kill this thing. Fuck! No, that's not the one. I had it out earlier. Is this the one? Are you my... No, that isn't it. Alright, whatever. We'll just do these ones by hand. We know it's gonna fit. That's the muy importante part. Alright. That one's just... Why is it a little loose? It's just a little loose because... Did I actually need the freaking things? No, we don't actually need the little things. Maybe it does need a washer. We haven't gotten these ones tightened up yet either, so... They're just finger tight at the moment. Yeah, there it is. See? Now nice and tight. Good and tight. Alright, I got that. Let me make sure that this one's good and tight. Tighter. Not crazy tight. Snug. Snug is all we want. That one's good. Not worried about the AC one that much, to be honest. Alright. I guess we could put the HT one in too, because why wouldn't we? Where are you? I think I'm going to try to find a different washer for this HT one. I don't know that it's going to work, because by the time I find a washer that fits around that thing, it's probably going to be too big, but whatever. That one is going in, though. That is the importante part. And if you wouldn't fucking mind... Sorry. Thank you. No? I'm pissing it off is what I'm doing here. There it goes. Can't cross-thread it. Cannot cross-thread. Cross-threading bad, okay? Cross-threading bad, okay? Alright, I'm going to take the bias pots out. We're going to try to leave most all the rest in there. I think I can probably take the HT and the effects loop out, to be honest, but these guys are probably going to end up going in nearly last, to be honest. We'll probably have to run the wires up to them and stuff like that, but unfortunately, golly, that's all so tight down in there. Yeah, this guy's going to have to come out for shizzle. Click. Figure out why that's not getting super tight. I might need to use one of the washers. It's like right there. So it's just the right thickness. I probably need to use the washers on it, but I'm not going to because I don't need it. I'm being nitpicky is what I'm getting at. Ta-da. All right. What do we got here? 9 of you. So we got a few less people today. You guys aren't doing your job. So bias pots, I kind of feel like a blessing and a curse. The reason I feel like it's a curse is because I know that musicians like to twist knobs, right? So if the knob is there to twist, they will twist it. And the propensity for an artist, musician, whatever you want to call yourself or associate as, to go and start tweaking around on knobs and such like that is pretty high, because they can't just leave well enough alone and think that something about twisting that knob is going to make the amp better. Now, bias is one of those things where there's right, there's wrong, and there's, somewhere in between, to be honest. To be honest, it doesn't have as much of an effect as everybody thinks it does. The only reason I put so much emphasis on it is because I know that you can bias for tone, but it's such a marginal amount of difference that you risk. You're putting yourself at risk, right? Too much of a good thing is still too much. You will notice on amps that have like a single adjustable knob that if you get it, like if you don't even know the numbers at all, like I can bias an amp just by listening to it. You'll twist that knob and you'll get it hotter and hotter and hotter, and at some point or another, you will hear a difference in the tonality, right? It will do something different. And that is probably that magical spot where if you go beyond that, and you'll notice it too, because it'll sound kind of anemic or a little weak perhaps, then it'll sound fine, right? It doesn't, change much of anything. And then it kind of like warms up a little bit. Like you'll kind of you'll notice like a little swell in energy or something like that. Well, at that point, you'll notice that it doesn't change once you turn it up any further. But if you keep turning it up, you're going to get into red plating. Red plating is bad, okay? So then you're thinking to yourself, okay, cool, I'm just going to back it off a little bit. We're just going to keep it out of red plating. That's great. It might work like that forever while at idle. But unless you're actually watching what that amp is doing, when you're giving it the big harangues and you got it turned up to 11, it's at the higher volumes, especially with those fixed bias amps that have adjustable bias like that, where it can be a problem. Not that it will, but it can be. What generally happens with amps like that is that you have to think of it as a ceiling. Let's see if we can get it. A ceiling and a floor, okay? The ceiling is the available voltage that you have to operate the amp. The floor is 0 volts. Well, in this case, it's not 0 volts anymore. It's bias. So this is your negative bias. So you have to think of how your amp runs as like a spring, right? So if you have less energy being pulled off the power supply, the spring has more tension on it, I guess you could call it. More or less it expands, right? Your floor comes down, your ceiling goes up. Okay? Now, that's good. That's great. You want your ceiling to be high and your floor to be low. But you cannot have your floor come up. Once you set it for this setting here, if your floor comes up, you're in trouble, because 0 is right here. This is 0. Let's pretend that's our 0 line right there, okay? So this is your ceiling and that's your floor. What happens when you draw down the power? Remember I was saying it was a spring. So if you loosen the load, your ceiling goes up, your floor goes down. That's great. But if you increase the load, right, and you draw down the voltage, what happens? Your ceiling comes down and your floor goes up. Okay? That's what happens in a fixed bias amp. So when you start giving it the big harangue and you got the volume turned all the way up to 11, you're sagging the power supply. And when the power supply sags, the ceiling comes down and the floor goes up. So now you have a situation where your amp is running hotter and hotter and hotter, the harder and harder you play it. That would be ungood, because if you're already at the verge of, biasing too hot, all you're doing is getting it right over to over dissipation. And then of course, that being 0, when you get really, really close to 0, you are instant red plate. Like, no es bueno, okay? So, yeah, right, tilt red plates. So that's why they come up with that magical 70%, 60% number. Lately, these days, a lot of amp companies are tending to go no higher than 60% and probably closer to 50%. It's kind of been starting since the 90s. It's just nowadays it seems to be more common, where everybody is trying to make the tubes last longer. They're not really, they know that most bandmates or band players or whatever don't turn their amp all the way up to 11, but they can extend the life of the tubes. They can buy themselves some insurance, and they bias them a little bit colder, right? That's not a bad thing. It's kind of good. Now, cathode bias works the other direction. Cathode bias actually cools the bias down the hotter you turn up the amp, or the louder you turn up the amp. So at idle, so when the amp is just on, not actually making any sound, a cathode biased amp is as hot as it will ever be in terms of bias point, right? But when you turn it all the way up to 11, you give it the big kerrang, you're like, well, Luke, what about that whole spring action thing, right? Doesn't work that way. The way that it works is 0 is 0. So cathode biased amps work off of this absolute. 0 is 0. So when the ceiling comes down, 0 doesn't change. So it actually gets colder and colder in terms of bias. The relative bias gets colder and colder the harder you play it. So they kind of work in opposite to each other. I like cathode biased. It does a thing, right? They are less efficient, so they don't produce as much power. And they do tend to break up a little bit earlier, and it's mainly because they have less power. But right, so you get to this thing where you can get the power section to interact a little bit more, because you're actually cooling the bias down, right? So that's why you see a lot of cathode bias amps, like AC30s and stuff like that, biased at like nearly 100%, if not over 100% in some instances. I don't like going that hot. I try to stick between 90 and 95%. Anything over 95% is pushing your luck. We're talking cathode bias. So I shoot for 90% on the low end and 95% on the high end. If I can get 92 or 93, I am super duper snappy happy. But so that's that. This guy here, you can pretty much bias it as hot as you want. I doubt the sag is going to be a huge problem, but when I send it out, it will be biased probably to 60% or thereabouts. It probably won't need to get any higher than that. So just from an objective standpoint, 60% is really the end of the line, I think, if you are playing out in an actual band situation where you actually have to acquire any level of volume. If you're a bedroom player and you never get above 1 on the volume knob, you could probably bias it to 80% and be okay. As long as the tube's not red plating, you're okay. But if you're playing in bands, you really should consider working your bias a little bit cooler. That is all. No more, no less. And that's just another thing that's kind of a plus to biasing a little bit cooler is your tubes will last longer. So this is why I'm not a big fan of the whole NOS tube thing or whatnot. NOS tubes are new old stock, right? If you use them, you lose them, right? There's only so much of them left in the world. And they just keep getting more and more expensive. I think it's all a bull crap ruckus anyway. Thanks to Aspen Pittman for that, right? So you got your awesome set of NOS tubes and you think your shit is the non-smelliest shit on the planet. That's great. If you use those tubes, you will lose them, period. Over time, they are going to go away. And then when they're gone, they're freaking gone. You're never going to find another set that sounds exactly like that, period. You never will. That's why I've never gotten on the whole NOS tube craze. Yeah, you might find that amazing set of tubes, and you're like, this is God's gift of tubes sitting in this amp right now. If you use it, you're going to lose it, and you're never going to find it again. So use the modern stock, I think, and just get over it. A good amp is a good amp, and it's going to sound good no matter what freaking tube is in there. All tubes. I'm saying 100% of tubes sound different from the other by that much. We're talking about a freaking, an RCH. And why is it an RCH? Because it's the finest of hairs. And yes, we even got the matching Maker's Mark glass. See if I can do it without spilling anything. All right, sorry. That was my little triad there, or triage, whatever you want to call it. But there we go. Let's actually get some work done. We're hour 47 into this. We're probably not going to get as far along as I'd hoped, but I really want to kind of get these things done. They are there. I got to remember where I sat the frickin' turds. They're right here. So, this guy here, you know what? This frickin' thing is starting to piss me off. I made it really, really long on purpose. So, because I made it too short the frickin' first time. And I just really want it out of my life now. Rah! Right? And you go in your home, please. And you go there. That one went in real nice like. And you go in your home as well, please. I remember one of them was a little tough, but that's how close I got them, I guess you could say. If you wouldn't mind, please, going in your home. Hold on. I'm going to make my life a little bit easier and do this. And hopefully that'll make my life a little bit easier. There it is. Jeebus. Made me work. So these are about to be permanent. So I kind of wonder if there's anything I freaking missed. Did I miss anything, Riley? Riley, where are you at? Don't fall asleep on me. So Riley is in England. I know most of you are probably out of the country. It seems like most of my viewers these days are from some other part of the globe. I'm not complaining. That's actually a freaking cool thing. But Riley, wake up. Where'd you go? I was hoping he'd be here because I've been blaming everything on him lately for why I've been making mistakes. It's just what I'm doing now. So how this is going to work here is less than fun, I guess. I don't know. I've got to get two rather large 1 ohm resistors from each of these to there. God damn. Yeah, we're not going to be turning on the power today. But that's okay. It's okay. So each of these goes to each tube, right? So I'm going to have one that comes off of here, and the wire is going to go up to some point. It goes to the cathode of the tube. My apologies. So the cathodes are these ones here. Well, I shouldn't say it's those ones. These two are going to get tied together. So we're running EL34s in this amplifier. And let me do a thing here. I don't need this thing sitting up like it is. Ooh, and that's why. Okay. So, golly. Okay. Those two get tied together because this is an EL34 amp. That's what it's meant for. So pins 1 and 8 get tied together, and then those are going to go to each of these bias probes. And then from the bias probes, they go to ground. So if you know, in a fixed bias amp, they generally take the cathodes and they tie it directly to ground, okay? Now, there was a couple different ways I could have done this. I could have just ran the resistor straight to ground from a lug that goes from here to there. I could have done that, but I wanted to make this adjustable so we could see it from the outside, etc., etc. So here we are now. We got these things, yada, yada, yada. So we need to actually run wires from these two guys together, and then one is going to come down and over, and the other one's going to come down and over. This probe here will go to that tube. This probe will go to that tube. That is going to take some work. let me tell you, it's going to take some freaking work. And I have to decide which direction I want to go. Do I want to go down the same side as all these? So I got one little hod of wires that come down. Or do I want to go off of the opposite side and go so this way and then down, and then end up with a different wire that comes down? Now, here's kind of why I'm hemming and hawing about it. So right here, I've got the heater, and I have a space underneath there. I can run wires underneath. That's not the problem. It would be pretty freaking cool to just come out, go down, shoot it in, you know, straight down like that, and then hit that guy with it. And then do the same here with this one. Go over, down, and whatnot. But then I end up with 2 runs of wires that come up each side of the tube. Do I want to do that? Or already Easter there. Oh, damn. That's the world. Custom builds. Yes, everything custom. Everything is custom. There he is, Riley. You're back in the house. So tell me. Yeah, this is Easter weekend. I thought I was going to make noise out of this thing this weekend. I was talking with Andy. He's begging me. Luke, slow down. You can't beat me on this. You got to go slower. I'm fucking with him right now. He doesn't know it, but you know it. I'm fucking with him. So if he hears this, just tell him that I told him, just tell him. Tell him Luke said you're being a little brat and you don't want me to beat him on this finishing the amp. I'm teasing, of course, but in either case, probably not going to make any noise this weekend. I am going to have to, spend some time with the wife at some point. Probably not going to be tonight, but whatever. In either case, I guess what I was getting at is, should I go this way so I can keep the hod of wires all in the same spot, or do I go the other way and have 2 runs? I like things to be clean, so I am really, really leaning towards running everything down the same side. So it'll come down this way and down this way, and then I'll shoot over, which is going to require me to... I'm not using this 20 gauge stuff anymore. I will be using the 10 gauge, which I thought I had somewhere over here. Or 10 gauge, 22 gauge. Here's some more 20 gauge. Where did I put that stuff? I had some black 22 gauge out, I thought. I know I did at one point. But yeah, we're not going to need this stuff anymore. Hold on, let me find my wire. I can do this. Dun-dun-dun. I'm digging through my drawers. There's more 20 gauge. There's the 20. Is that 20? That's 22. I found my 22 in red, which I don't know that I want to use red for that, to be honest. But I thought I had some black of that too. I did. I know I did. I mean, I have plenty of it, but of the... Whatever. I'm talking to myself at this point, but I'm disappointed in myself because I know that I have it. I just can't remember where I put it. Know what I mean? So here's my 22 gauge of this stuff. Oh, it's right here. It's like, I know I had a little pile of it out here. This is 22. It's 22 gauge because we don't need freaking 5 amps worth of shit. Like, we're talking milliamps of current. Sloth Tech, please do go back and watch all my videos. Don't stop. Addicted to the shindig. Yeah, no, there's a lot. But I do need to get busy making another amp, actually. I thought I was going to try to do both of these at the same time, and I probably could. AC, thank you so much for coming in. I will see you in a bit. Have a wonderful evening. But I need to get going on another build, and I thought about doing it kind of in tandem with this. I think what I'm going to do is put it on my membership channel. So if you're interested, I have 2 levels of membership. I'm not asking, I'm saying that if you're interested, that's where that content I think is going to go at this point in time. So just if you're interested, check it out. So there. I am going to put those along here for the cathode. I'm going to use this wire here. It's 22 gauge. It's much good. I don't know how I want to do my jumper. I think what I'm going to do is do the jumper on the top, and then I will have the actual run come down on the bottom. I am going to keep it so that everything runs along the same path, because I like things to be nice straight lines, if you will. So let me cut a little length of this. We're not going to get as far as I'd hoped tonight. What time is it? 7 o'clock. If we're out here till 8 o'clock, the wife's going to kill me, but she won't kill me. I don't care. She's not going to kill me, but I don't want to stay out here too late. As I was mentioning, Andy kind of wants me to slow down. I kind of need to pump the brakes anyway, because I know that lately I've been going a little too fast. And when I start going too fast, I start making mistakes. And when I make mistakes, I feel devalues the amp. And I don't like making something that's already really nice and really expensive any less expensive. Right? All right, so that's going to go there. So I need to cut this just a wee bit shorter. Just a wee bit shorter, not a whole lot shorter. Yeah, I'm going to go just a little bit longer. Yeah, we'll go there. We'll split the difference. And I think I'm going to have to empty my thing out. I told you we're going to go, even if I take that out, we're already starting to fill this thing up. I told you we'll go through at least a couple of those. So, and this is going to be less than fun to freaking clip off. Let's see if I can do it with this guy. These are brand new cutters too. And it's not that they're bad cutters. They're actually really nice cutters. But that did not go very well. We're not using that piece at all. Let's see here. We got to be able to do this better. I don't want to use a solid wire. I know a lot of people would use a solid wire and call it a day. Not this guy. We are going to use coated wire. So I apologize. I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it right. And everybody will be happy. Because eventually, I think... Yeah, it's probably good enough. I guess I can always make it longer than I need it. And then, whatchamacallit, cut the excess that I don't need. I could do that. I don't know what it is, but when you use your teeth, you don't end up with problems. I don't know. So I'm just going to use my teeth. Do I want to go a little bit deeper on that one, though? Yeah, I do. So we're going to go just a little bit deeper. Got to do this again. You know how you done it right? Done it twice. All right. This is where it gets dangerous, because this is where you usually end up nicking the wire when you pull it out and taking strands with it. This time I did not, but there we go. And I'm going to bend it over. Yes, I'm looking for bend over. Yeah, I did that joke earlier. I thought it landed pretty well to begin with. I'm going to do it again. There it is. There it is. All right, those are longer than they need to be. We will cut them. I know you can't really see much from the angle of the dangle that you got and the amount of, pan out that we got, but I'm trying to make it so you guys can see kind of everything. Again, this connection here is going on the top, and the actual one that runs down and over will go on the bottom. The resistors for that are here. And those look like this. So these are metal film. These are 1 ohm, but these are higher wattage. Keep in mind that this 22 gauge is rated for like 4 to 9 watts. Depends on the voltage and all that fun stuff, but at least 4 watts, 4 amps of current. We are not putting anywhere near 4 amps of current. You're looking for Ben's sisters, Eileen. Right? All right, let's see here. We are at temp. I think I need just a couple more degrees. All right, let's get this tinned up. If you wouldn't mind. That is definitely in the hole. All right, let's do this. Click, 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 bam, boom. Yeah, I kind of am happy with that, to be honest. This other side here is pretty good. The one that's on my right, your left, I guess, technically. So we're gonna click. Nice. Nice. All right, I'll leave that on. It's not super hot right now. We will cut the excess off, though. Don't need any excess running around. And click. I don't mind where that is at. That is in a good spot. Scuzzy. And we got plenty of distance. Yeah, we're good. We good. Let's do that one more time. Do you think we can do that twice? Please tell me we can do that twice. I'm going to cut this just a little bit longer this time, though, because I do feel like that helped. There we go. I'm telling you right now, as much as I hate this stuff to work with, this is the wire. This I get from Tube Depot. It is their aeronautics grade or their fucking NASA grade shit. It is the Teflex. Not PVC. It is Teflon wire, but it has this kind of stuff here. I don't know if you can see that. Maybe I can get it in this shot. All right. Okay. This stuff here, you cannot melt this crap. It is amazeballs. Very difficult to melt. And if you do get it to melt, you've screwed up. You've really screwed up if you get that stuff to melt. But in either case, the point being, I'm going to cut it just a bit longer this time. The point being is that is amazeballs wires. All right. Amazeball wire. And they have it in all the major colors too. So it's not like it's just, white, black, and red. Those are just the colors I use. I mentioned it yesterday. I don't really like kaleidoscope amps, like this kind of crap here. Honest to God, if I really wanted to be an asshole, I would have just done it all in one color or two colors just to make it so it doesn't look like a rainbow. There's part of me that almost wants to redo it just because it kind of does look like a rainbow. I just don't like rando colors all over the place. To me, it's too much of a good thing, still too much. So that's all. No more, no less. And I think I kind of wonder if I should go a little bit shorter on the one side. We are going to suck just a little bit more off of one of these sides here. Yeah, almost. I want it just a little bit shorter. And did we get it? I think that was the one. Yeah, that's like super long. Super long. All right. Yes. Yes. That, see how that fit in there like a freaking glove? Now it doesn't want to. Almost fits too well. I got it so perfect. It'll fall on back out. That's how you know you got it good. Gall darn it. All right, I don't know. We need a freaking needle nose apparently. I don't know that I want to try to play God with it beyond that, but whatever, we will see. And if you don't mind, it's alright, it's alright, it's alright. She moves in mysterious ways. Bow, 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 bow. I'm going to tack it there. I'm going to go back and solder this other side real quick now that I got it kind of held in place. Ooh, yeah. Like a dream. Just like a dream, I will take you there. there's that. That looks pretty snazzy. I'm going to see if I can do something here. I don't know if it'll allow me to, but it might. I'm going to try to squeeze this one in just a little bit more. So we're going to melt that. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It let me. It let me. All right. So now what we're going to do is cut off the excess. And click. And this one's pretty good, but click. All right, giggity. What do we got here? So that one, so the reason I'm not dedicating these yet, I talked about it yesterday, is technically speaking, I could be wrong. I have a red here and a black there. I am debating yet whether or not it would be easier for me to swap these left and right, or to swap it at the grids going into the tubes themselves. The nice thing about the going into the grids on the tubes themselves is that I could just flop the wires around that go to each one. However, the reason that's dangerous is that I got a couple coupling caps that go across this side, and I'd have to get underneath that wire there and swap the leads around to make it work. So it's probably going to be easier for me to do this, right? To just move this wire over there, then, or vice versa if we get squeal. And I have enough room in down here, right, to work on it if I need to swap them around. So I think I'm going to leave these long, or much longer than I need them to be, connect them, and then we'll come back later once we can confirm their location, and then we'll go from there. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. So, what I mean by that, for those of you who are not new to this, I'm not talking to you, Riley. Giveaway poster friends, free chance to win this. Yes, Riley, good fucking dia. So you guys, Sloth, Steven, hold on. Steven, you know what, dude? You're a fucking cool cat. I like you. I like you. I like you a lot. I think you freaky and I like you a lot. You ever heard that song? Die Antler or something like that? Standard, there we go. Cool. You are now a mod. I think you freaky and I like you a lot. Anyway, and Sloth Tech, actually, you know what? You're a cool fucking cat too. You can be a moderator as well. How's that? Yay. I like friends. We got friends. All right. So, if you're not initiated, negative feedback has, it's negative for a reason, right? That's why they call it negative feedback. Well, depending on the orientation of these wires here, depends on how it flows through the output transformer. So it can go this way or it can go that way. This way or that way, right? So the negative feedback wire needs to be negative relative to the positive aspect of the signal going into the tubes. Well, you don't really know what that is until you plug these things in and turn the amp on and run it up. If you turn up the presence, or you turn up the amp loud enough, at some point you're going to get a squeal. It's going to sound like hideous. It's either going to go like or like you're going to know right away something's freaking wrong. Well, the easy fix is take these wires here, the ones that go into the plates of your tube. Again, we're assuming that you're building an amp, right? Take those two wires, crisscross them, flip them over, right? Move the black where the red was, red where the black was. Ta-da! That's probably going to be the fix. Let's go. Let's go. He's sitting up taller in his chair now. It's like, Okay, so just know that if you're building an amplifier or you're building a kit, whatever it might be, and it doesn't tell you specifically that the blue wire goes there and the brown, they're usually blue and brown. In a lot of amp kits, it's blue and brown, but double check the specifications of your output transformer for the center tap, and the other two primaries. In this case, we got white, red, and black. My three favorite colors right there for an amplifier build. But in either case, if it squeals when you turn it on and turn it up or whatnot, you need to swap those leads. But as I mentioned, you don't have to necessarily swap the leads. You can also swap the inputs to the grids of these. So you have the sends that come from the coupling caps on each side of the phase inverter, right? They don't care which tube they go to. it's the same. So on the other side of the coupling cap, the side that would be touching the grid stoppers going into your power tubes, you swap those leads. It's the same as swapping these. So which of the two is easiest? Pick that one. All right, enough of that crap. I'm going to get a little more cleanup because I know I'm done with this guy. Little doggo out there, he's hungry. All right. Let's see here. What do we got? We're doing good. We're doing pretty good. These guys. So I'm going to put one on the bottom side and then one on the top side. I'm going to try to offset them a little bit because both of them need to connect to this guy. All right, so one's going to come from there and go to there, and the other one's going to go from there and go to there. And then, sorry, I'm looking at the screen to make sure that I don't know. One of these days I'm going to get better, and I'm going to look at you right in the eye, and I'm going to be like, this one goes there, and that one goes there, and that one goes there, right? Sorry, that was a little freaky. One of these days I'll figure that out, though. I'm not that good yet. We're working on it. So you can kind of get an idea, right? Something like that. And then the other one's got to go kind of maybe something like that. But what I've noticed is that one of these, the leads on these are not long enough to stretch all the way from one to the other. All right, and I'll show you what I mean. So if I put this in the center here, where it would look nicest at, you can see it just misses that. That ain't gonna work. So I'm gonna have to put it like over the center of that one. So that's what I'm gonna try to do, is center this one over that other lug. And then just wherever this one lands kind of in the middle. I'm gonna try to do something, maybe I'll do something like that, where they both kind of hit at the same relative distance. All right, does that make sense? But one is gonna go underneath and the other one's gonna go on the top. And I haven't decided which one's gonna go which way yet. I think it would behoove me to move this one on the bottom. So I'm gonna start with this one first. This part's gonna suck. I'm gonna tell you right now, because I need it to go, I need space. All right, so if these are the pins here, I'm gonna put the pins facing up like this. I don't want them sucked to the pins tight like that. I want them to be off just a little bit. So I have to bend this thing up at an angle and then wrap it around the lead. But I also got to do it while making so it holds that distance, that spacing in between the two that I was talking about. Fun stuff. So I'm going to try to use my new pliers that I'm sort of not super stoked on yet. That's not going to work. It's just not going to freaking work. So this one's going to have to split the middle to do what oh my God, I'm furked either way. Let's get these things tightened up. That's what we're going to do now. I am going to align these here. I'm going to tighten these up. We're going to make those permanent. And then while I work out my what is turning into my hell. Oh my gosh. I knew it was going to be a challenge to do what I was looking to do here. I did not realize that it was going to make me work. Oh, really? So I already have one out that might fit that. But I don't. Where the hell did it go? This isn't the one. Oh. That is the one. Furk. All right. No, there's that one. Let's see how well my metric ones fit, though. What is that? That's a 5/16. Well, hold up. Wait a minute. In it. All right. Let's see if this is gonna fly like an eagle to the sea. Fly like an eagle. Let my spirit carry me. So we are going to tighten these things into place. I might go back later and put some snot on these to make sure that they don't move. And I don't want to over tighten them, but at the same time I want them to be nice and tight like. And that moved on me, damn it. And it's not exactly a 5/16. It is a metric. So guess what? We're going to get our metric out because that's going to irk me a bit. It looks like it's the first straight size. These things are brand spanking new, so they're freaking tight. Oh, what do you know? What dost thou know? See if I can do this without scratching my faceplate. I want that to hold steady. Rock steady. Wow. Oh, yeah. Rock steady now. Whoa, whoa. And I want to rock steady. Rock steady. Test question. Bad Company's first album was produced by what record company? And who owned that record company? You've got 30 seconds to answer, because I know that's about how long it takes to freaking get back and around. I'll give maybe a minute, but let's go. Click. Let's go. Bad Company. What was their first album? Who produced it? And what record company was it? And who owned that record company? Swan Song, Led Zeppelin. Very close. It was Swan Song, but it's actually Jimmy Page, of course. So yes, Steven for the win. I've been around a little too long. Now that was a zinger though. That was an easy one. I won't put too many of those tests out, but you know what I mean. All right, come on, baby. And if you wouldn't mind, we are really dedicating ourselves right now, by the way, because the fact that I'm tightening these up means that it is going to mar the faceplate, which means that it is like, if I take these things back out again, we are furt. You know what I mean? And I let that one twist. I like my nuts being straight, so I'm trying to be very careful to not mar my faceplate. And again, these don't need to be like stupid tight, but I want them to be at least square. Click. That actually came out pretty fucking good. Let's see if I can do that 2 more times. All right. Hold on, I gotta get this off. So what I was trying to do is bend my thing over. That's pushing too hard. Pushing too hard. I want them tight, but I don't want them like crushing tight. You know what I mean? Nah, I mean. But I like my things straight. So I'm anal enough. Anal enough. How good did I do? I know that I did good. Oh, I'll accept those terms. Let's go. Sorry. I'm excited. That was excitable right there. That was an excitable moment. I will accept what just happened. What just happened, I will accept. I like it when things go right. If you notice, when I'm winning, Luke is freaking happy. When I'm losing, I shut down. I'm like, I don't want to lose. All right. So now I've got to come up with a decision on how I'm going to wire this thing in. The unfortunate thing is that the lead is not very long. So I think I'm just going to have to kind of do what I was hoping to not do, which is just put it in the middle and then bend it up. And hope to God that there's enough lead on this thing to get around this thing. And we're going to kind of find out right now. It will do it. It's not ideal, but it will do it. Son of a... Talk about losing right now. I'm starting to get disheartened. God damn it, shut off. All right, let's get one more done. We can do this. We are going to do this. And that's going to go right there. Methinks. And then I want that to be nice and square. And then we're going to go down. That did not seem to be centered very well because I got two different lengths on the thing. Let's see how that looks when we push it in there, though. It is, interestingly enough, I got more width than I need. And the side that is short, I can get longer. So we're going to do this. Yay. Now, they actually look much closer. But now the question is, are they now too short? Oh, we're still like perfect on length. But now we are very, very well centered. I think, can you see that? It's kind of tough to sell. I don't know. It's pretty well centered right there. That black line in the middle is kind of a little off. It's not actually in the middle. It's like the middle is just a little bit to the left of that, or to the right of that line. So now we need to make it so that the ends hook around. Like we need to make just a little bit of a hook. That is the hard part because we want it to lift off this center one here. We don't want it to be resting on it. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I want it to hook around. Hook around. Hook around. Hook up, and hook down. I also need to be careful because I still need to run wires down and around over to that. So let's go ahead and get that part done now. I kind of realize now why I left the iron on. My intention was probably to finish wiring. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Let's go. Click. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn that back on. I'm going to have another couple sips. I'm starting to catch a buzz. I haven't eaten yet today. That's not helping anything. Loctite or Nylex nuts. I would love to use Nylex nuts on here. I am using lock nuts on just about every other spot in this amplifier, with the exception of those, which is why I said I'll probably go back later and put like a blob of probably silicone. Silicone's probably not the right thing to use, but like it's pretty indelible, I guess is the word. I don't know how to explain it. Like I know that it's not gonna slough off unless you need it to slough off. Loctite for blind nuts, not blind nuts, for things like that, not very good. That's what they use that green snot for, though. That green glue that they use on a lot of nuts in those production amps. That is the proper stuff to use. So I'm not going to fault them for using that on those particular amps. But the reality of it is, I don't have that shit. Maybe I can get a hold of it, but I don't really want to. I think I'll just use probably silicone, to be honest. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. To be honest, I do not know. I'm going to move that out of my way. I am going to tin this lower connection here because I do not want any problems. There it goes. And then what I will do is take this guy from the angle of the dangle that I want it to and get it in the hole. In the hole. I do not like wrapping shit around 100 fucking times. I can tell you right now, I can yank on that. It ain't coming out, okay? It is not coming out. I will still touch it up, but I don't like it being abused, but you know. There it is. Click. Get in your home over there. There it is. Ha! That's how you know you freaking did it, because it freaking actually moves. I can see that there is a mound on each side of that. That means I know that I did it. You do not need to wrap wires around 100 freaking times. And that's actually not sticking out that far. I will live with that. So what this is going to do is do this. So this is going to go underneath here. Like so. Right? And then it'll run down there next to that guy. I'll probably end up zip tying all that together right there or something. And then that will end up coming over to here and go into there. Does that make sense? So I'm going to cut this a little bit on the long side, because longer is better in this instance. So I can shape this and form this to be how I kind of want it to be. So it'll ride down in that little zone kind of like that, right? So they'll all just kind of run together, but we'll get that so it's nice and straight. See if I can make it so you can actually see what I mean, right? So it'll all kind of run down there all nice and straight. Like this one will actually go right there, kind of like that. All right. Sorry, I was looking at the camera again, but you get what I was doing. All right, I got one more of those to do. Nah, man, it's gonna make me work today. There we go. Oh boy, let's see here. Get you. Click. All right. There it is. All right. I am going to tin that then, which means I need to get these kind of out of the way here. Like, that'll work. That will do, pig. That will do. I'm going to get you on this side. No, I'll get you going over here first. There it is. There it is. I'm going to see if I can freaking shoot it in this time on the first shot. That was ridiculous the last time. There it is. Okay. Yeah, that was good. That was real good. Dun, 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 dun. Freaking real good. Oh, baby, baby. There it is. And I want to add just a little bit more. Right in my freaking eye. All right. Sorry. And this is going to go down like that. And then it's going to go to that second one there. And I could have used red. I know some of you were probably like, why didn't you use red, Luke? Because I got red connections here, right? But I don't know. I don't like I said, I don't really like kaleidoscope. So unless I have to, I will try to run pretty much the same color everywhere. That is a personal preference. That is not for any other reason than that. So there's no secret to that, okay? So just pick a color and run, I guess is really all it comes down to. But don't pick my colors. So you got to pick anything other than black. I'm kidding, of course, but so something like that. And then I just want to make sure we got enough to get over to here. I'm going to again cut it long. That's pretty long. There we go. So now I got a little bit left for some other spot in the amp. Yay! All right. So this part is going to be less than fun because I really got to figure out how I'm going to make that thing fit. But I want it to go from the bottom up. Made it from the bottom, now I'm here. Made it from the bottom, now I'm here. This is going to be not freaking fun. This is already making me work more than I was expecting it to. I'm not happy. And again, I apologize because I am in the way big time. So So part of the challenge is I don't really have a long enough lead to pull it off. I kind of need them to be just a little bit longer. Let's see what I can do here. Hold up. Oh, the joys of trying to make shit look frickin' amazeballs. Oh, the joy. Amazeballs. Amazeballs. That is way longer than it was before. I done furked big time. Again. Maybe what I need to do is just do this and do it right this time. It needs to go like right frickin' there. I have it a little bit closer now, actually, to be in the same frickin' length. Imagine frickin' that. Close. No, now it's too freaking long. Can't win right now. And we're gonna do this, everybody. I will not relent. Okay, that'll function. So now what I want to do is put like a little hook on the top half where it will just lay kind of on the whatchamacallit, the freaking doohickey. It doesn't have to go all the way around, although it'd probably be nice if it did, but we just need it to hook there. That's really all it is. Okay. Now did I do, ooh, I did pretty good there. And that is over there. It's a little bit longer on that side. Did not do good on that one. Sorry, I have it out of camera view the whole freaking time because, you know, that would just be too convenient for you guys to see what the hell I'm actually doing. And I'm still holding it out of camera view. My apologies. I'm sorry, guys. All right, so you can kind of see here, I got it so it will hang down. I actually managed something pretty amazeballs there. It will actually hang. So that is a start. Now it's just a matter of beautifying some things here so it's right. I was still a little on the loose side. I want it to be just a wee bit tighter. So we're going to just suck it in just an ever so slight bit. There it is. I think, yeah, it's actually pretty good on height. So what that'll do is allow me to get it kind of just sitting there, right? Like that. Does that make sense? I got it going the wrong direction. I guess not. I don't know. It's not really the wrong direction. But now I can't even get it off. So you know I did good when you can't even get it off. It is doing what it was supposed to do, which is hold on. All right. I want it to be this direction. There it is. That is very more better centered. All right. Uno mas y todo. Now this one will be a little less difficult to get aligned because the gap is, you know, only about the width of this thing. And in this case here, I think what I'll do is I'll probably align it in the center of the two, which is going to be even more fun to do, but we're going to do that. We're going to get it so it is centered. I think I want to straighten that lead a little bit, so bear with me while I rub some wood. It's a thing I do. It's a thing most guys do, to be honest. There's something about rubbing wood. I don't know. But all right, let's see here. What I can do. Can I get this thing nice and centered like? I want you to go like right there. This is like a pain in my ass. I'm going to say that's good. And then I'm going to go click. That was a little bit too much bend. Now what we want to do is repeat that on the other side. See how it's so far over? So I need to actually suck that in a little bit. I don't know where I went wrong, but I went wrong. I went wrong. That's all that matters. I went wrong. I still make mistakes. Oh, I see what it is. So the challenge is that the pin, like I'm looking at it and it's really, really hard to see because the pin is kind of like mushroom tipped, right? So it goes in and then it goes out and over, right? Well, when you're looking at it, for me, there's a reason I wear glasses. I'm like putting it on there trying to align it, not realizing that the thing's going to suck in like a 32nd of an inch. So that is not helping my alignment. And I need to suck it in just a little bit more even. So I'm going to go just a little bit more. But now that I do that, I can kind of gauge that width there, right, that I got. And that helps kind of gauge it out for the next side. But now it's starting to get really, really long. And that is pretty much centered there. So I'm going to just be brave and kind of eyeball the other side here. And guesstimate where we're going to land. I think right in there is probably pretty close, I'd say. Survey says, fucking spot on. All right. Sorry. I do cuss a fair amount. I try not to. I know that this is a semi-family friendly channel, but at the same time, I'm not exactly like a child per se. Now this one, I don't want to get too brazen and go too high up. This other one here, I want to try to get the same like width out of it, I guess you could say. So I'm going to try to match like that height that it has there. It's about 1/4 of an inch or so, thereabouts. That's what we're going to try to match. So bear with me while I freaking pull that off. Hey, Rocky, you want to watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat? Let's do this. In fact, I'm going to go just a little bit longer here. I'm going to make this just a itty bitty bit longer. Who remembers watching Rocky as a kid? Rocky and Bullwinkle? Was that something you guys had? I had Rocky and Bullwinkle. Okay, come on now. Now. Sorry, I know I'm off shot here. Let me get in a shot. Let me get in shot. That might make things a little more fun for you, right? A little more fun if you can actually see what the hell Luke's doing. Although, this is not going to work. So I'm just going to have to get brave and kind of guesstimate and hope to God I get it right. And I'm going to say right freaking there. And I think, let's see here. How close am I? It's a little large, so I can suck it in a little bit more. I'm going to suck it in just a wee bit more. There we go. Click. I think that's it. I think, yes. It's actually even just a little on the tight side, but that's going to work. That'll do, pig. That'll do. I only got to do that one more time. And I actually bent that pretty square. You can see that thing's like right up the middle there. Pretty good. I did pretty good. Not teabag. Now I got to do that one more freaking time. Can I pull it off? Survey says I think so. It's again a little tall, so I'm gonna freaking just give it just a itty bitty pinch. Sorry, you guys can't see what I'm doing. Now we're gonna give it the itty bitty pinch there, and give it the straighten up, do the tighten up. That's pretty dang close right there. All right, so we got kind of a whole little loop, and survey says it's a little on the short side, but I don't know. I'm gonna redo that one. I want it right, not close. So now it's too big again. Maybe it is. Ever so slightly. Ooh. And then we're gonna just close it in just a skosh. There it is. I can tell that's the one already. Yes, just. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's okay. All right. And something like that, right? So they all kind of go in the middle there. All right, now what I need from this is I wouldn't mind having a little bit of extra space in the middle. So I'm going to just cut them a little bit shorter, but not a lot of bit shorter. I'm going to go right about to that first line there. So they look, God darn it, more like that. And then we're going to align things here. I'm going to freaking try to get everything to freaking line up the way I want it to. This is so freaking fun to watch. How do I know this is so freaking fun to watch? Because this is what I would be doing if I had nothing but free time right now. I'm teasing. So now one side is still a little bit bigger than the other. I kind of want to redo this side because I'm feeling like that's the side I need to redo. Get lined up, please. It's pretty close. We can make that work. And I think I want it to go right there. I made it too big again. Again, not the end of the world. Let's see if I can freaking get it right. Sorry again, I know we're out of shot here. That's pretty close. That is pretty dang close, to be honest. And now we just need to tighten everything up a little bit. There we go. I will accept that. So the other thing I need to do is then bend it back the other direction, see? So right now it just kind of fits, all right? I mean, I guess I could leave it so it goes down, but I kind of want it to come up. The reason I want it to kind of come up is because I want there to be air around there. And this is not exciting right now. But what I'm going to do now is about the width of those tabs, I'm going to bend it back up again. Why? Because I can. Something like that, right? And then we'll cut them a little bit shorter. And then, of course, square them up so they look all pretty and stuff like. And that's probably bigger than it needs to be, in fact. So I'm actually going to tighten it up even more. Now, what I could do is, it's dangerous to say that I could do it, right? So you do something like that where you actually end up with a loop. But we're not doing that today. Sorry. That is asking way too freaking much. I want it to be tight. I don't want it to be Luke is gonna die tight. I just want it to wrap kind of around. So that's all. So something like that, and then we're gonna cut off that little bit down there. And what we will end up doing is wrapping that around a little bit. There's sort of kind of what I had in mind right here. All right, something like that. Does that make sense? Something like that. So then when it goes around that thing, it bites just a little bit. It's still a little too long. But let's work that out. I work it out. All right. Sorry, I keep doing things off camera. I don't mean to. It's just force of habit. Do keep in mind that we're not really generally building amps in front of people with an audience. At least I'm not. There is a bit of learning curve. There we go. So, like that. Now I've got to do that one more time and see if it's going to fit, and it will fit. It's going to snap in there. It's actually going to snap in there. So I did good. So now I just got to repeat that. Because, yay. Oh, yeah. That one actually went kind of well. I will accept it. We're going to cut that little bit off that we don't need. All right. That makes sense. Yeah. And the hope is that when we put that thing up there and we push it into place, it'll like snap into place. So I'm going to kind of make that possible by making it so it's snappable. And the hope is on that oh, that was way too tight. Sorry. All right, that's not too bad. This other one's too tight too, actually. We want it to snap because it's just going to be a brat and a half to hold this thing up into position. It's going to be like one of those things where it's going to be a brat and a half. But once this thing is soldered in place, then we can get the other thing soldered in place. And then we can get the other thing soldered in place. Here's the other fun part. There's one more wire that's got to go from here to that one lead right there. Now, I was in debates on how I wanted to do that. And I think I've kind of worked out how I want to do that. There's no point in trying to use like braided wire. Braided wire is just going to be way too much. I cannot believe, yeah, my OCD is something all right. I cannot believe there are 10 of you in here right now. Oh my God. Yeah, Rocket J Squirrel, hell yeah. Room for one more. Ooh, barbecue shrimp, come on. Dude, I'm jello. I'm actually hungry. Like I said, I haven't eaten anything yet today, so I'm kind of starting to feel it. So that bus wire that I had yesterday, I unfortunately have put it away already. So let me get that back out. I apologize. At least I think I put it away. Watch it. Yeah, I did. Okay, good. So I'm going to use that bus wire, and the wife started a little laundry, but never came back to finish it. Wonder what those shots did to her. So we're going to use this to make that connection from there to there. Like literally it's that long. It's so ridiculous. But we're going to cut a length of this that is going to be way too long. I do not care. It must fit. Oh my goodness. You guys are something else. The fact that you guys are still here. You guys started on this show too today. You guys are amazeballs. Thank you so much for your patronage. And I'm going to rub more wood. That's what I do. I rub wood. All right. Whew. Yeah, I need to eat. All right, so that I want it to come up and then poke down. I want it to shoot straight down and then bend over and then wrap around. You think we can pull that off? I don't know. Let's see here. This one's going to be kind of less than fun, but we're going to do something like that. I think we're going to get right in here. Yeah, that's going to work. That's going to work. And I want that to be nice and square-like. And then I'm going to need it to go... How far do we need it to go? It doesn't got to go very far. I'm going to do something here. I'm going to bend this a little bit, what I know to be short. I need a handle. There we go. Something like that. Okay. See how well that lines up? You can't see how well that lines up. So that little hole right there is like perfectly in line with this guy. So what we're shooting to do is get it to line up in that hole, head over to that guy, but I want it to be on one side of it. And I think I know what side that's going to be already. And then I'm going to go, I want it to get towards the ass end. So I'm going to go right, I think here. Yes, right there. Okay. And then we're going to go kink. Oh, too far. Too far. A little too far. So now we got a nice little Z bend type thing going up. Like right, like that. And then like that. All right. Now we got to straighten that out, that little piece there that I kinked around. So that way we can bend the rest of it around that freaking lug. So sorry again, I'm going to try to keep this thing in shot for you because I know you want to see everything I freaking do. You probably don't, but so now we got this nice little ziggy zag piece here, right? That is going to go like so. And then I need it to coil around. So we're going to have it just literally coil around from this spot right there. And we're going to go around. Now this one, I am going to have it sort of wrap around a little bit. Because... And that is not going to wrap around that. That is not big enough. Do I have another one of these that I can work that off of? The answer is yes, I do. I just need to get one out. So I'm going to use another one of these to help make that bend work the way I want it to. Where is one? There we go. Let's see how far off we are. Yeah, we are a little off. As much as I wanted to be on, we are off. Whoa, 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 whoa. It's okay, though. Nothing to fear. Nothing to fear here. Nothing is out of control. We are in control. There we go. Okay, so now, will it snap into place? Not quite. It is getting there, though. There it is. There it is. All right, that is now a nice little fit. So that's how we want it to kind of fit around that thing. All right, so just imagine this thing getting squared off here a bit. So never fear. It's not going to go all the way around. I'm going to go like that. That. Ooh, down on the ground. Don't step on it. I got to find it now. It's here. Okay. So we've ended up with a little piece that looks like that now. The hope is that when we get that thing on, oh yes, oh yes, oh yeah. So it'll fit around that thing kind of like a little piece, right? Anyway, you get the idea. And if I did all that right, did I do that right? Sure seems like I didn't. No, I did. I went up over the top and then around. I went up over the top and then right around. Yep. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So now I need to cut the bottom of this. It's too long now. But I don't want to cut too much. We just need to cut a little bit. We're going to go kind of little by little until it gets where we want it to sit. And I'm going to go like this. Oh, you dirty little... Dirty little. That was one of the best freaking albums they ever did. I can't remember exactly what the name of it was, but it wasn't Freak on a Leash. I think it was Issues or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. But that was the freaking best album they ever did. Dirty little fuck. Dirty little. Okay, what do we got? Oh my god, that's it. You guys can't see it. There's all kinds of rope right in there. Ready? Can we do this without furking it up? You guys can't really see. It's so straight in there, it's straight. That's all you need to know. It's furkin' gonna workin'. And I just need to do a little bit of work on the other side to make it go straight, but it's gonna frickin' work. At this point, if I solder it on any one point, it's going to be square enough that I can bend it kind of into place. So I kind of got to pick a spot and just solder it. The kind of bummer about the whole thing, though, is that, let's see here. No, there's no kind of bummer. It's freaking amazeballs. That's all there is to it. But the kind of bummer is that, dang it, I want this guy out of the way. And now this guy needs to move now. I guess. Maybe not. Yeah. I got to decide how I want. That's gonna do it. Oh my goodness. I want to freaking tighten this up though. So we're gonna do something crazy. So what I want to do is lock it into place with this freaking little bit that I got left over here. There it is. So now it isn't going to come off. And then I just got to do the rest of the work there. And it's sticking down just the right amount. Oh boy. Sorry, I whacked the freaking thing there. Let me put this thing away. We don't need this anymore. What do we got here? Rubbing wood is something necessary. It is, you know, on occasion, you might have to rub some wood. On occasion. Not if you're married, you probably don't have to do it too often. At least you shouldn't. Wife better be doing her damn job. I'm just kidding. I don't know what your situation is. I'm just teasing. I keyed. All right, so we've got like a dual position thing here we want to go. I think what I want to do is tighten it up on this end first and then tweak it to where I want it to go as it shoots down, and then we'll solder that piece in. But that also means that I need to get these other guys kind of hung in spot or hung in place, so that way when I do the one, I get them both. I get them all type thing. Oh my god. Oh my god. And yeah, that is the direction I believe I wanted it to go. Except for now, I didn't think about the fact that I wanted that to go on first, because now I got to get it to go around. There it is. All right, there's that. And then that will go in a spot where it makes it level. See how it's just hanging there? You see what I mean? It's like it's just kind of bobbing there. Like it's hanging. It's literally just hanging there. And then this other piece, this one's going to be a little less fun because I closed in the freaking things to try to squeeze it into place. But probably should have put this one on first, to be honest. Now I got to get that one to go on. I'm going to open it up a little bit here. My apologies. I made more work for myself than I intended. Apparently, I needed to put this one on last. Apparently. And then this one's going to bend up, over, and in. Click. Oh my gosh. Things are starting to work. Now this one's giving me a little more trouble because it doesn't want to stay up. But that one won't be as problematic. There it is. Now it's staying up. And that is very well centered. And then I have to pick if I want this one to be in between or on the other side of it. I'm kind of leaning towards fudge. I gotta pick one. I don't get to really pick. We're gonna go on the inside. It's one of those things where it's gonna work out in the end. But so this one is gonna go towards the inside. This one's going to go towards the middle. And then we got that last piece. My gird. That is pretty freaking cool. It would be even cooler, though, if they were both facing the same damn direction. They are not facing the same direction. So, what do I want to do about that? I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to be a dickwad. Let's see here if I can pull this off. Nope. I fucked up. Come on, baby. There you go. All right. I want them both facing the same direction because I'm anal retentive like that. So, yeah. Just saying. And then I need to split that. And then in. Yeah, something like that. But part of the battle is that I sucked it in. Oh, no. No. Oh, my goodness. All right. Something like that, anyway. I need to get this other side here to freaking suck in as well. No. I said you suck in as well. And what we can do is fine tune some of it after we get everything kind of in space. Ish. Oh my god, this is really going to suck. I'm not really looking forward to this part, to be honest. DIY, yeah, right. Let's see here. What do we got? Yeah. This is going to be less than fun. I have enough going on. I think I can make this work, though. It's just a matter of getting everything to freaking play nice and stuff. Like, okay, so that's exactly where I want that one. So I need to get this side here done first. That side. I know you guys can't really see this. This is bumming me out too. Don't feel bad. This is the challenging part. I think at this point, oh my god, like, my god, I'm gonna try to get this soldered first. I'm gonna try. We're gonna get just a little more heat there. It always wants to go right in your frickin' face. This is gonna suck. I already know. I am not gonna be happy with my decision right now. Come on, you can do this. There it is. You can solder on in. Suck on around. There it is. Alright, so now I want to make sure that this one's pulled up. There it is. Now it's kind of pulled up. This one needs to not suck in the way it was. There it is. Ah! Not quick enough. Okay, we can work that out. That's not a problem. Alright. So those are kind of stuffed in there. That one's going to the back end. That is at the back end. And this is going to go like that. And then it needs to come up. Oh my god. That is, and there's a bit down there. That's fine. That one is the bottom part. That is tucked in there nice like. That is not exactly touching. That is good. Okay. So that'll go to the tight end there. And then this is going to go like so. Okay. Did I get it in the hole? It is in the hole. To be honest, this is in the hole. There it is. Okay. Now I'm going to get that in there. And well, let's see if I can suck it in just a little bit more. I want it a little more on the tip. There we go. That's what we were looking for. So it fell down a little bit more. That's what we were looking for. My apologies, I know. And then that guy. Oh my god, that's so working. It's working so well. It's working so fucking well. Oh my god. That's pretty freaking square. And this is now very freaking square. That is very freaking square. I do not want to touch that one anymore. That one is in freaking place. So to touch it now would be dangerous. I am going to lock in the ground that goes to ground there. That'll be that. Well, at least for that side of it anyway. And I'm probably going to need more heat, I guess. No, we're not. All right. Well, maybe we will. So a challenge again, of course, with the ones that connect to the chassis, all the heat's getting sucked away. So it works for a minute, and then all the heat sucks out. Well, the iron's trying to get hot again, and then you end up having to restart the whole freaking process, kind of. So you can see I'm trying to get down on the bottom side of it, but I can't get it to melt from the top. So there it is. All right. And did I get it the way I want? I don't know. Let's find out. There it is. I don't know if you could. I don't know if you could see it, but you could see it just kind of pull up, and then it just. It's just like it pulls up, and then it goes. There's just like this thing that it does, and then that's when you just know that you got it. And once you know you got it, you got it. All right, so I'm gonna get this far one now, and then we're gonna get the middle one. We're still not done with those two. Those still need these wires to go to them, but right now they're locked in pretty good, so we're gonna get while the getting's good. I am gonna turn down the heat because we don't need quite that much anymore. Now what I want to do while that thing's still hot is hold it kind of in place and make sure that it doesn't move while I freaking run some solder on it. And we're going to do the same thing on this other one here. Now this other one's going to be a little more interesting because we don't need to pull it down. We actually need to pull it up. So this one there, yeah, I don't know if you saw it, but it kind of popped there for a second. That one needed to come up. Okay, so now that we've done that, I got like a little freaking thing there when I pulled up too fast. Okay, there we go. Now those things are nice and tight. All right, so now we need to get the two wires ran over to them. Yay. I'm going to turn off this for now. Interestingly enough, I need to use the Banyo. We're at freaking 3 hours and 10 minutes. Steven, thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate it. I know this is a pretty long time. 3 hours is a long stint. My goal at the very moment right now is to just get those two wires attached to that. We need to get those done. I want to get at least this bottom side done so we're out of there. However, I got to use the restroom, so please just talk amongst yourselves. I'll be right back. I know there's only 9 of you, so forgive me, please. All right. Oh, dang it. Alrighty, I am back. 4 of you, I walk away for literally 2 minutes. 2 freaking minutes. Everybody bails. I see how you are. Whatever. Nothing to learn here. I kid. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm not kidding, but I am kidding. Okay. So that one needs to go to here, but I want it to be a little bit tighter against the back wall there. That's going to go like that. Dang it. pulled out a little bit more than I'd like it to. But there's that. And then this guy will come around and go like that. Or do I want it to go the other way? I don't know. I don't know what I want it to do, to be honest. Oh, okay, I got one of you back. Holy cow. I gotta go to the bathroom for 2 minutes, and you guys, all of you left. That's, yeah, right, the suspense. I know, I'm slow. I'm a turtle. I'm a freaking turtle. But if you want it done right, you gotta do it. It's not about speed at this point. And I'm in debates. I'm gonna go over the top and around. It just seems to be the more appropriate way to do this. And I might put a little zippy tie right down in there and just all that stuff together. So let me get this kind of cut where I need it to be cut to make this thing land where I need it to land. I'm gonna go right there. A little extra length ain't gonna hurt nobody. And we're gonna strip off a nice little bit. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think that's gonna be good enough. All right, let's see if we can do this without fricking anything up. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. Oh my gosh. I'm telling you, man, one of these days. There it is. Fuck. All right. So here's where it gets challenging. All right, so I got to wrap this thing around the freaking lead. This stuff is historically not very good at that because it's really stiff stuff. So I'm going to get a temperature set here that's a little, yeah, right in there, 720. That works pretty well for what we got going on. I'm out of alcohol. God darn it. I'm going to get just the tip kind of done up so I can fold this thing around. I guess maybe what I'll do is I'll do this first. This usually works pretty well. Yeah, that right there, just like that. I'm going to give that a little bit of a dusting with this. Basically, we're going to tin it, is what I'm saying. And then we will stick it on there. And if you wouldn't mind, thank you. That's perfect. I want to try to avoid that as much as we can. We're going to stick that in there. And our goal at the moment is to just get this wire locked on, and then we'll deal with the rest of it after we get it kind of on there. Because it's a brat and a half, to be honest, to even work with it anyway. So as you can tell, it just does not want to play. So we're going to get it so it does. And click. There it goes. It's trying not to fall off anymore anyway. Now, objectively, we want to just get that soldered on, and then we can adjust the wire from there. We know that we have enough length that we can play with it some way or another. So that's the plan at the moment, is to try to get that thing just on there and not messing around. Oh boy, this might suck. As a matter of fact, I know it's going to suck. And I managed to break the other one off. So we know that we needed to do more work. Oh, darn it. That's how we know we needed to do more work. Oh boy, there goes the wire doing what it does. And around the top. Oh boy, I don't know that this worked well at all. I guess we're gonna find out. So far, I'm not very happy with that. But let's get this thing kind of in. Oh, yeah, no, she's in there. Oh, she in there, all right. All right, so that's going to go like so. That is in there. Okay, so we want this to get over there deeper. And then this is going to go like so, and down like so. All right, I don't know if you can tell, but everything's sucked in. That is very well connected at this point. It is not going anywhere. We've only got to do that one more fucking time. Only one more time. I am going to get a zip tie in there, though. Ooh, I'm going to... How do I want to do that, though? I'm going to get this one out of the way. We're going to put this one on the top of all of that, because that one is possibly going to come back out. This red one here. Remember, that one may need to swap with the black one. So I'm going to zip tie it, though, as if it's going to be permanent. And then we're going to, you know, go from there. Damn, I did a good job on getting that other one down there freaking locked in. Locked and loaded. All right, where are we going here with this guy? Right there. Thank you. All right. And click. All right. Right. Does that make sense what we got going on down there? I don't know if you can see it. You probably can't see it yet. But more or less what's happened is we've done the tighten up down there to the degree where everything's just like right in there. Sorry, I know the fart fucking sounds are not funny or cute or interesting or anything, but I'm just trying to, like, you know, whatever. You get what I freaking mean. You know what I mean? All right. There's that. We got one more to go here. But that worked rather well. That worked rather well, to be honest. Ooh. Now I got the burpees. Dr. Pepper and the Red Bull and the freaking drink is starting to work. All right. So this one here, we're going to go up and over the top, and then we're going to do the same thing again, except for now we're going to come from there somewhere. Again, you just can't really see it, but you get it. It's just going to do the thing in there. But we got to make it now so that everybody happy. Everybody happy. I'm going to cut it right there. I did it. I cut it. I don't know if it's actually going to work or not, but we're going to run with that. They never said this was going to be easy. I never said this was going to be easy. This is not easy, but we are going to do it. What the hell? What do you got? You play the board game Operation a lot as a kid? No, I did not actually. I played Candyland, Chutes and Ladders, and Monopoly a lot when I was a kid. Interestingly enough. And I know some of you are like, oh my God, those are like, I am a freaking kid of the 1980s. I'm that old. And I'm a kid still at heart, by the way. So yes, I am older than I look and looker than I am old. And I hate it when it does that and splatters shit all over my board. We're going to go through this quite a bit. Yeah, no, I did not play or that particular game much. My parents didn't have that game. I don't know why. It was just one of those ones that we just didn't have. All right, so I want to manipulate the wire to do what I need it to do. And then I need it to pull in. It's just going to freaking play hardball. There it is. The problem is I can't really pull this. Or, yeah, see, it just kind of does what it wants to do. It's like one of those things I need it to do like a multitude of things, and I'm trying not to bend the lead underneath. So what's happening right now is I'm forking things up. So I need it to do like a multiple bend sort of thing and still at the same time go where I want it to. But I can't. It's a pain in the butt. It's hard. This is hard. Yeah. It's not hard. It's just stubborn. It's a pain in the butt. If it were easy, everybody would be doing it. And I know my head's in the way. I apologize. Maybe not. Maybe my head's not in the way, but still. There it is. Okay, so I want it to stay right there. That's what I need it to do, is stay right freaking there. And then it flops right the fuck off. Let's see here. How am I going to be able to pull this off? Ooh, maybe I can use that to my advantage. That might work. I think we figured out our situation here. Sorry. Half the battle is working through the challenges of trying to make it stay clean. And I might need a little more heat. I might need just a little more heat. We're going to go just a little bit hotter there. Okay. No, I want you to go this way. I want to pull the... I'm going to try to do something here. I don't know if this is going to work or not. I want to try to pull the solder over to this other side here. And there it went. That's what I needed it to do with that there. Okay. Hold it right there for a second. Let it cool down. Okay. That did what it was supposed to do. I'm going to turn that off. Now what we're going to do is make this do what it's supposed to do, which is scooch down in there and stay tight to the board. Now, I got to do this. That's not going to help anything. Okay, so we're going to get down in there. And we want that to go like that, more or less. I can do this. I can pull this that way. Get out of here. Yeah, it's kind of, it's fighting me, but we can make this work. Those are in there. That thing is in there. Like, that ain't going nowhere. This guy ain't going nowhere. Yes, that is good. That is good. Those are permanent now. Those are done. All right, now the hard part is getting the freaking wire to do what I want. I need to cut that zip tie that's right here and re-zip tie the whole pod together. I mentioned a few times that we're going to go through several zip ties. I do not have that one. Thought I had another couple out here, but we're going to just pull a bunch out. Going through 50 zip ties on a build like this, not improbable. I'm not going to lie. It is something that you're likely to go through quite a bit. And do I want it to go like that? No, I want it to go like this. I'm trying to find a direction that I want to run this zippy tie. Because I want it to be pretty like. And I also want it to stay put. Thank you. And that is grabbing all of them. Yay. Okay, that is nice and tight like. Click. And then we're going to go like so. Click. And that's got to go like so. Now I want that to go there. And then we're going to put another one here. Another zippy tie, that is. But I need to get the distance between those two to work out. And did I spit or something like that? I must have spit. My apologies. Say it, don't fucking spray it. Alright. That's why you're not allowed to... that's why I'm not allowed around kids. I say F-bombs too much. That's why this is not a kids... I don't promote this for kids. I always say no kids allowed. Because it takes an adult to pull this crap off. Alright, so we're going to put a zip tie here as well. So we want to lock those two spots in together so they quit freaking bothering me. And I want this to go the same damn direction. And we're going to go right freaking there. Click. And we're going to cut that. Now, with any luck, this will remain about this permanent. I mean, with any freaking luck whatsoever. Alright, so we're going to freaking put a zippy tie right there like we did on that one. And I think after that, we might just call it a night because Daddy's getting tired. It is 8:30 right now. It's not that late, to be honest, but I said anything after 8, I was probably going to get in trouble. I'm not in trouble, but you know what I mean. It's too much of a good thing, still too much. I love you guys, but I love my wife too. Click. All right, I think that is good. All right. There it is. So now we can take this guy, if you wouldn't mind, and it'll go there. Look at that. Look at that. Oh my freaking goodness. Watch this. Hold on. There it is. Right? Click. See? 2 runs. By the time they're done, so just keep in mind you're not going to see half of that anyway. So, because you're going to have this over one half of it. All right, it's going to go over it like that. 2 of them end right here. Excuse me, 1 of them ends right here. The other one goes up over to that one. That's that one. We got 1 more yet still. That goes over this whole half of it right here, like so. Oh, I furked her. Well, that was kind of a bust. That wire right there I need to shorten it out. That's not the end of the world. I can bend it down and over. But in either case, that's going to go there. So you're not really going to see much else right there. So it's just 2 little... That's it. Oh, that is kind of a bummer. It can be worked out, though. That's not the end of the world. So I have a tool. We just go... and then it'll bend the right way. But that being said, I didn't get as far as I wanted tonight. I will be honest in saying that tomorrow I'm probably going to take a break. For no other reason than I've been at this like 4 nights in a row so far. I've done 4 at least this week. And we've gotten really freaking far. Like, we've done really, really good so far, I think. So I just, I don't want to get too far ahead, but we do want to be far ahead, but not too far ahead. Okay. So what have we done? We got this guy in. So let's get this guy out. So we got our thermistor in. That is permanent. That is never coming out. We've got our bias adjusters in. Those are permanent. They are never coming out. This guy is essentially ready to get connected. This side right here, this little quadrant is done. All right, this is all done. Our heaters are done. Our connections over here are pretty much done, with the exception of getting the voltage connector in. We have a couple things down here we got to work out. That's going to be less than fun because there's not a whole lot of space down there, but we will figure that out. Essentially, we could put in our AC device. No. This area here, we got some tightening up to do. It makes sense, right? I got some screws coming. They are longer so that we can lock those into place. Those will hold those more or less like so, right? And then that will hopefully get bent out and nice and straight, and you can just see it goes right on through. Sorry again with the fart noises, but you get the idea, right? That'll go through, go along, do what it needs to do. So we've made some dang good progress on this guy in the last week. Not as much as I would have liked. I think, to be honest, even without the mistakes, we probably would have gotten only to the point where I was mentioning before, where we could flick the switch, right? That was kind of what my goal was tonight, but it's not. We're in such a good spot right now. Like, everything's going pretty smooth at this point. I can tell you from my experience that once this part gets done, once we get this tedious kind of crap just out of the way, it's going to go pretty quick. I've already said it before, it's going to go pretty quick. And you saw, it only took a few nights to really make some serious progress on this thing. So we're getting there. We are getting there. It is Easter weekend. I am going to work on this on Saturday. I might shift gears a little bit and move into getting the chassis or the cabinetry cut out. I have the CNC file built for that already. We talked about that before on one of the previous videos, probably about a week ago. So we're talking 5 videos from this one. Let's see here. I have all the wood for that already. So at this point, I need to start looking ahead from just making noise with this. With any luck, we'll finish all the hard wiring stuff, all this kind of crap over here by this weekend, which means that all that is left is populating turret boards. That part goes pretty quick. I'm going to tell you right now, I've said it before, this part goes pretty quick. And then let's see if I can get it in the right spot. There it goes. This part goes pretty quick, right? It only takes an hour or something like that to put all the parts in there and solder them up, right? This board down here is a little less than fun, but a lot of these parts that are along the top here are going to not be there, right? Everything's going to be tucked down and tight so those boards can go in. And then all the remainder of the top, we'll put that turret board together. Again, with that, it's pretty quick and simple. The wires will come up, yada, yada. We'll get the backside done first, right? We're going to get our power supply and all the back end stuff done first. And then we'll move to this guy here. Sans that stuff, the wiring of the other components only takes another day. And when I say another day, it might turn into 2 videos. Mainly because I can only do about 2 to 4 hours at any given point in time, unless it's the weekend. On the weekends, I can generally do a little bit more. Like I said, Saturday, I'll probably do a live. Sunday, I'm probably going to take the day off. I'm going to take tomorrow off just so I can achieve some level of sanity. But that's not the point. The point being is that by this weekend, we'll be in a state where we can flick this switch on and at least see a pilot light and at least test and see that we got voltage coming out of our HT here and we have voltage on our, our heaters and stuff like that. Little things. Come Monday, we'll start, hopefully by then we'll be ready to put these turret boards that go in here and start populating that. Those will get populated, then we'll populate this. And after that, it's just wiring. Once we get through the wiring, again, if that's what, 2 days right there. That means we've only got another day or 2 after that left of just wiring this thing up. And I might leave you guys hanging for a little bit on firing this up until I get some of the cabinetry done. As I mentioned, I might get some more cabinetry work done this weekend as opposed to getting wiring done. Realistically, we've only got about 5 more days left from the point that we'll actually hear noise. And when I say 5 days, I mean 5 videos. So 5 videos, we'll have noise, we'll have a cabinet that's pretty much built and ready to start putting together, if not already put together and ready to put this in. Cabinetry usually takes me a little longer. I think at this point I got it pretty dialed in. The hardest part with the cabinetry on these is that it takes 1 day to put it together, right? Because you got to CNC all the parts out and then glue it. After it's glued, which you have to wait overnight, you screw it. So the next day I come back in and I screw it together. So I screw and glue the cabinetry. Once it's screwed, it's not a big deal because then you just route the corners. The corners are done. At that point, we are ready to start putting Tolex on. Now the Tolex only takes a day. You have to do it within a day pretty much, but it takes a whole freaking day. As long as I don't furk up the freaking Tolex, it should only take, a 4-5 hour stint or something like that. It's one of those things that once you start, you kind of just got to go all the way through it. I have a process now that works pretty well, and I know that I don't generally have any problems. Then it comes to the woodwork on it. Now the woodwork on that means getting the walnut portions of it done. So there is a walnut piece that goes along the bottom and up the sides. It goes out of one piece. Count it, one piece of walnut. So I put that in a CNC so that way I can get it so that all the pieces fit exactly together and it's square and all that fun stuff, because everything else is CNC'd. Then it comes to finishing. So obviously CNCing that out, it's not that long, right? You put it in the machine, it cuts it out, you're done. So maybe a couple hours there. Finishing it, you got to hand sand it, of course, and all that fun stuff. And then we got to finish it with the finish that I use. I like using Danish oil. Danish oil is great. You know why it's great? It's great because it looks good. It's very, very close to boiled linseed oil, but it doesn't take 10 years to dry like boiled linseed oil. So the Danish oil only takes about a day or two to be where you can handle it and at least do stuff with it. So obviously doing the walnut pieces, about a day. There's a couple other little things I'm going to do a little bit different on this build. I want to so on the Peacemaker, I did a walnut piece that was inset, and then I put a little square in the middle with a bezel that was, like out of some other material. Sorry. I don't want to do that this time. I want to try to fit the entire walnut piece in the back section there and then inset this guy. All right. So I have several of these, right? And it's just a piece of aluminum that's been, I don't know if it's lasered or water jetted, whatever it is. It's a piece of aluminum. What I want to do is take that piece of, it's 1/4 inch thick, but walnut. And then I want to engrave into that the negative of this and then set this in it and then glue it in. That is the plan there. So it'll be just a flat walnut piece with that piece there sticking just proud of it a little bit. So that's a 1/4 inch. I think it's about a 1/4 inch anyway. So yada, 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 all that. Again, the plan was to have this done in April. We're on the 2nd of April right now. We are ahead of schedule at the moment. My plan was to have this done by mid-April. I kind of feel like that's going to be possible. If I extend things out a little bit, we're looking at the end of April. We will have noise before the end of April. Probably by mid-April, we'll actually hear what this thing sounds like. I will do the entirety of the whole process with you. So I'm not going to jump ahead and cheat and all that fun stuff. We're going to try to catch it all in real time. We'll check the circuit, make sure that everything that's supposed to touch goes beep, 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 etc., etc. So with all that, we'll also go through the biasing process together, all that fun stuff. So for the winner of the amp, that will be a perfect opportunity for you to learn exactly how this thing gets biased. We are putting some Angry Pixies external to the amp. This guy right here will have about 400 volts sitting on it, and it will be right there external to the amp. Now, it will not hurt you. It cannot hurt you. It's very low amperage. The plug is there for a reason, and you really have to try. And I will prove it to you. I will stick my fingers on that and try to make things happen. It will not happen. I know. I'm that confident that it will not bite me. So I'll try to make it shock me. But we'll show you the whole biasing process, the whole 9. We'll get you through that. And yeah, we'll do a freaking startup and see where we're going to be. Now, what do I think this thing's going to do when I first fire it up? I know it'll make noise. I'm highly confident it will make noise. I'm highly confident that everything that I put in there will work. I kind of feel it's going to be rather bright, So I think we're going to end up with an amp that's really bright. And I kind of think that we're going to end up with an amp that does get itself into blocking distortion. So there is going to be some amount of tuning that it will be needed to be done. But we will find out. I might get lucky and fire this thing up and it might sound glorious. Now, the only reason I'm semi-confident that I know it'll work is that this guy right there, one that you can see there, that guy is very similar to this one in many regards. This one has a parallel triode on the front end, which is kind of a thing that I do. Not everybody does it, but I do. So you don't do it, I do it. And then it goes into, another 12AX7 and runs through two parallel, or not parallel triodes. It goes through two triode stages, and then it goes into a phase inverter. So you're thinking, okay, well, you got obviously more tubes in this, so how's that going to work? We're going parallel triode, and then we're going into a triode, into another triode, and then into a parallel triode. We still got some connections to do, right? That parallel triode ends the whole chain there, and then it goes into the driver stage for the power amp section of the amplifier. That is essentially the same as that guy right there when you think about it. If you include the phase inverter, which does in this amp provide much of the distortion, that's more or less what this one kind of has going for it. So I know that there will be some amount of distortion. It's going to be mean. It's going to be a fun little toy. That is a fact, Jack. But there might be some fine tuning that we're going to have to do. I know that there's always fine tuning. It doesn't matter what amp you build, but so this thing's coming together. I'm quite excited. So with that, I think we have exceeded what we need to take care of for the day. So for now, I'm just going to bid you adieu. I say thank you so much. We'll see you on the next one. Take care. Goodbye.